Hey, what's going on, people? Welcome to the third Tuesday night show. I'm like Thursday night. Tuesday night show. We have some interesting stuff to talk about. Like I said, this will probably be one of my few in between shows about any sister wife content, in fairness. But before we get started, I want to give everybody an opportunity to log in. Go ahead and take a look at the poll. If you want to answer that, that'd be fantastic. I'll play a little bit of music to kick things off, and then we're going to jump right into it.
Could be watching chefs burn pots in the kitchen, or influencers fake fights for attention. Drama queens with crowns, but no conviction. But now you're here, my addiction. Could've clicked that prank, that mukbang feast, or streams of gamers slaying beats. But you're here with me, not scrolling free, not lost in streams or reality. You're here with me where you wanna be, out the algorithm, just you and me. Could be watching cats knock glasses down, or a dude trying to stunt, stressed as a clown. DIY hacks turn smiles to frowns, but you're vibing here, no fakes around sound. This ain't unboxing or ASMR, no clickbait titles, no rented cars. Realest channel in your repertoire. Stay tuned, superstar. But you're here with me, not scrolling free, not lost in streams or reality. You're here with me where you wanna be, out the algorithm, just you and me. Yeah, could be watching chefs burn pots in.
Yeah, so we are moving forward. We're going to be talking about some things. Before I get too far along, let me put what's going on. We got Lizzie B in the house, Jody Periscala, Katie, Megatron. What's going on, Megatron? I hope you know. Apology to Megatron, Lizzie B. On Saturday, we were having a live stream, and my damn internet provider want to act a damn fool. So that led to like 2 straight days of cuss outs. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah. What trips me out when we're dealing with companies and corporations, everybody has this fantasy idea of like capitalism is the greatest thing ever. And the reality of it is the way we have been practicing capitalism, we've been moving towards a point of monopoly, where there's only a few providers for anything that you're really dealing with. Like George Carlin had a joke back in the 80s that I think is so appropriate now. Like, for all major decisions, you have like maybe 1 or 2 choices. But for bullshit decisions, you got 51 flavors. There's 31 flavors of ice cream you can get from Baskin Robbins. You can go down and get 150 flavors from, pretzels. If I go to a pretzel company, I can get like cinnamon pretzels, chocolate pretzels, plain pretzels, pretzels with salt, pretzels with honey mustard, pretzels with sweet and sour, all these choices. But when it comes to things of importance, like our political party, we got 2 choices. Separate wings of the same bird of prey. You got you go to your internet provider. I have maybe at best, I have 3 internet providers I can choose. All 3 of them crooks. It's crazy as shit. Like, I don't know. And then because the whole thing is, and people, well, James, why you tripping? And you got a choice. The whole thing is that these mugs are in cahoots with each other. They're all in cahoots. You ever notice, like, see, true competition is, I'm old. And I'm older. I ain't gonna say I'm old. That's a lie. Well, I'm older. I've been around, right? I've seen some things. And I'm telling you right now, when Walmart first came out, they had competition like Woolworths, they had Clover, they had Jamesway, they had Sears, they had all these competitions, big box stores, and people were basically doing what they were trying to do. Target, they came after Walmart. And Walmart, as a practice, would go to other stores. This is how they kill mom and pop stores, for those who don't know. They would go to other stores. Their associates and employees would go to other stores. They would see how much they're charging for stuff, come back to Walmart, change the prices. That's where the whole idea of rollbacks came from, price comparison. They used to try to undercut their competition. When was the last time you were looking for a phone plan, or you were going to buy something, or you were going down the street for gas, and then all of a sudden you saw gas for $6.99, and across the street the guy's like, "Fuck it, I'm going out of business. I'm gonna go ahead and charge $2.99 for the gas." Line be wrapped around the block 4 times, right? That's competition. Competition isn't you charge $4.99 and I'm gonna charge $4.98, and then next week you going to charge, I'm gonna charge $5 and you gonna stay at the $4.99. What difference does it make? Internet service providers, they all charge the same amount of money for the same bullshit service. And then when you call up and you have a complaint about anything, they turn around and tell you, because they know, what are you going to do? Leave? And what, go to the competition who's going to basically do the same shit to you that we're doing? That's why this guy get better. That's why this got to get better. We got to do better. Be more conscientious shoppers. Because that's the most annoying thing to me. Because there used to be a time where you could call somebody up and be like, "Look, I ain't going to do business with you no more." Oh, now, before you go ahead and disconnect your account. Now they don't give a damn. Yeah, we're going to charge you. I remember, look, cable. I remember when you could get cable for $20. I remember you could get cable for like $20. That was a package. You can get cable TV for $20. And I'm not talking about just like, the major ABC, CBS, NBC. I'm talking about cable with channels. Now for you to get cable by itself will cost you like $100, $200 just so you can get a bunch of channels that you would never watch. The paint drying channel. Who the hell's watching the fishing channel? Watch a bunch of old fat dudes sitting in a boat, throwing lines in the water and just sitting there staring at the water all damn day. Running commercials. Oh, yeah, he uses the fly. He gets the worms from the ground. It's incredible. Oh, Anyway, we've been sitting out here for 45 minutes and ain't caught shit yet. Like, what the hell am I paying $200 for? A bunch of channels you don't even watch. And then, God forbid, you have channels that you actually do want to see. Oh, but those cost extra. Like I said, everything's a scam now. And it's all about getting more money out of you that they don't freaking deserve. Like, I remember there was a time when, you would have a business and you would try to provide superior service or superior products in order to attain business. Now it's like we could just come out with mediocre shit and you guys have to buy it because I know my competition ain't trying to do nothing special. Like, we're at a point now, and I'm going to riff a little bit. I'm sorry. This whole damn thing with this thing, they open the floodgate. We're at a point now where, like I said, you go in a car dealership lot, they are selling pickup trucks for $100,000 plus, y'all. $100,000 a pickup damn truck. Are you crazy? I remember when you back in the day, if you paid $100,000 for a car, it was a Lamborghini or a Ferrari. You could get a Porsche for under $100,000. And I'm not talking about like a bullshit ass Boxster. I'm talking about a 911 Turbo cost you about $90,000. And that was an extreme car. I saw the other day, I was flipping through was it Instagram or one of them Facebook or something, and I had like an ad come up. I saw a Ford Mustang. Let me say that one more time. A Ford Mustang for $168,000. Who the hell is buying a Ford Mustang for $168,000? That's supercar money. What are we doing? This shit is crazy. They don't give a damn. And it's not even like there's a point where you should be embarrassed. Like, these people should be embarrassed as for all this money that you're not doing shit with this money. You're not giving us superior products. You know what I mean? Like, it is crazy. and I know you ain't supposed to say this, I'll probably get in trouble for this part of it. But you go across like overseas, there was a time in the like the weakness in our exchange during the after World War II. No car history. After World War II, a lot of the factories and shit was destroyed. That's how America kind of took a huge step forward economically. A lot of the factories and stuff, and especially in Europe, were destroyed because of what was happening. So we were pretty much the only game in town. Chevy and Ford, a lot of Detroit. That's when they took off, and that's when a lot of money got made. Cars were reliable. They were decent. They were strong. They cared about the product, etc., etc., etc. Updated. Everybody got lazy by the time the 80s rolled around. Everybody got lazy. The top end of them cars, mileage-wise, was about 100,000 miles. Then rolled in the Japanese imports, Honda, Toyota. And they started to build cars. Honda and Toyota were building cars. Now, these sons of bitches, they would rust around you. Like the sheet metal they were using was not as good as the American sheet metal that they were putting on the American cars. Granted, 100%, I think that's accurate. But those motors, those transmissions, bulletproof. Bulletproof. You could drive them cars forever. As long as you did the maintenance on them, you could drive them cars forever. I have a Honda house. Because my parents, we were one of the first families got the Civic. And you used to have a Roadrunner horn or whatever. We were one of the first households that had that. We used to see each other cars on the road, and you'd be like meeping at each other, like Roadrunner meeping at each other, because there's so few of us on the road like that. That car ran forever. Like we would buy cars, my family would buy cars and keep that damn Honda because it was so reliable. When I had a Honda, the last Honda I had between me and my wife, I couldn't get rid of the damn car. And I guess I'm cheap or frugal or whatever, however you want to say. I got sense. I won't go out and buy a new car just to have a new car. So I had a 2004 Honda Accord. My wife had a 98 Honda CRV that she bought, and we got her different cars. But that she bought, that was her first like big car purchase. Like she had cars before that, but that was like her first, like she went down, negotiated, got it herself. She was so proud of herself for doing it. And so I kept that damn thing on the road. And I'm telling you right now, cars are easy to wrench yourself. Like I replaced that damn car. I fixed that car so many times, it's crazy. Right? But it's easy to wrench. Never really had a problem with the motor. Never had a problem with the transmission. I was changing like ball bearings. I was changing tires, ball joints, things like that. Right? Just normal wear tear stuff. Shit with rubber on it. Right? That car, her car had 400 some odd thousand miles on it. My car had like 500,000 miles on it before it went, right? I'm telling you, you can't fuck with it. Like with an American car, there ain't no way in the world. And that car didn't cost anywhere near, like my car brand new. I didn't buy my car brand new. Actually, I bought it from my parents. But they got the car newish. It was a leftover or whatever, because we looking for them deals. We that family. They bought that car, and they had that car. I think they must have paid maybe $30,000 for that car. At most, like $30,000. It was a EX version of that car. She paid like 16, because she got finagled herself a pretty good deal. That's why she was so proud of that car. My wife paid like 16 for a car. And them cars lasted almost 1 million miles between the two of them. And now they're selling cars for $100,000. Moper, the Dodges, like the Charger, the Challenger. Them cars, like if you buy those cars, you're looking at maybe 150,000 miles on them at best. And they want you to pay $80,000, $90,000 for those cars. One of those cars costs as much as the two cars I'm talking about. And nowhere near as reliable. Crazy. I'm just saying. So when I'm sitting here arguing with these people at my internet provider, because I'm literally on a call with you guys, and then all of a sudden my shit goes down, like way off. Everything shuts off. I'm calling the internet provider. I'm telling them like, yo, what's going on? First they tell me it's nothing. We don't have no outages reported. I'm like, well, my service is interrupted and y'all damn sure cash that check. So if you got my money, I need to have my ability to get on this thing, because otherwise, what are we talking about? I get a text message. They talking about, like, later that day, I got a text message. Oh, it'll be up later. We should be good. I get a text message. They talking about it won't be up until Tuesday. What? Are you crazy? Like, what the hell happened? I'm telling you, like, I was so pissed. I was like, y'all gonna get me. Let's just say James got some free shit. But I'm just, look, I shouldn't even have to go through all that. And I had to argue and back and forth and everything else, talk to managers. It's crazy. Like, whatever happened to customer service? I'm sorry. I'm tripping. I'm tripping. But yeah, that's what happened on Saturday. That was my Saturday, Sunday, and part of Monday. Assholes. But yeah, I'm gonna play one more song, let everybody load in, and we're gonna start on this whole thing I was talking about. All right. Sorry for riffing.
Yeah. Hey. Yeah. Scrolling through the tube, all the thumbnails flash. Cats doing flips, pranks gone bad, they crash. But now you landed here where the beats don't miss. Yeah, algorithm point, but you hit my abyss. Oh. Coulda clicked the cookie show. Coulda learned to tie a boat. But you chose this flow. So let's go, yeah. You could be watching any YouTube channel, but you're here with me, grab the remote, dismantle. Lost in the pixels, but the vibe too ample. You could've clicked away, now you're stuck in my scandal. ASMR whispers, mukbang feast. Unbox therapy or conspiracy priest. But now you're in a trap, this rap's your feast. Chewing on the words, every line unleashed. Oh, a million views, a billion streams, but don't hit the vein of these digital dreams. You could surf the net, but you stayed in my scheme. Caught up in my rhythm, my beat supreme. Could be watching any YouTube channel, but you're here with me, grab the remote, dismantle. Lost in the pixels, but the vibe too ample. You could've clicked away, now you're stuck in my scandal.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, could be watching chefs burn pots in the kitchen, or influencers fake fights for attention. Drama queens with crowns, but no conviction. But now you're here, my addiction. Could've clicked that prank, that mukbang feast, or streams of gamers slaying beats. But you're here with me, not scrolling free, not lost in streams or reality. You're here with me where you wanna be, out the algorithm, just you and me. Could be watching cats knock glasses down, or a dude trying to stunt, stressed as a clown. DIY hacks turn smiles to frowns, but you're vibing here, no fakes around sound. This ain't unboxing or ASMR, no clickbait titles, no rented cars. Realest channel in your repertoire. Stay tuned, superstar. But you're here with me, not scrolling free, not lost in streams or reality. You're here with me where you wanna be, out the algorithm, just you and me.
All right. Oh man. So yeah. Yeah, Miss Indies. I should say I'm so out of touch with what's happening with Sister Wives. There's so much clickbait out there. You don't know what is true or lies. Yeah. 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 I mean, that's the whole thing. Like, and that was kind of the purpose of the conversation I wanted to have tonight, because I thought about it like when the news first dropped about Mykelti's whole implication. I'm gonna call it implication. Uh, I went like I was appalled at the notion that she was told that she shouldn't be tattling. Like, she got in trouble for telling that this is what happened to her. Like, I was completely appalled by that. And like, now you get a little chance to calm down, cool down, and this is kind of a glimpse of the type of analysis that I hope to bring to the true crime space as I talk about these issues. Is that cooler heads prevail? I mean, that's pretty much what I'm shooting for. Uh, and what I thought about was more or less, and well, before I get too far along, uh, and before we begin, I want to make sure something very clear. Uh, Essay allegations are serious. I want to be very clear about that. They should always be taken serious. When someone say they experienced something traumatic, that deserves to be handled with compassion and care. Like, we have to be very careful about just out of the pocket dismissing somebody because we don't necessarily like them, we don't trust them, we don't believe them, we may think that they have ulterior motives or whatever the case may be. You know, terrible things happen to good people, terrible things happen to bad people, terrible things happen to regular people. You know, how we feel about them doesn't necessarily dictate the veracity of the claim that they're making. Um, so I want to be very clear about that. Like, I'm not really trying to get into the whole, is she real? Is she not real? Did it happen? Did it not happen? Like, because I just don't know enough at this point. And I'm willing to say that I don't know enough. There's not enough information. To be honest with you, with the way it was framed in that interview, my feeling on it is that technically there wasn't even an actual allegation. There was a hint, there was an implication, there was an acknowledgement that something may have happened, but there was never an outright, this is what happened to me, this is how I felt about it, this is the person who did it, or any of that. So I'm very hesitant about denying that something happened when the person hasn't said that it happened. And I'm also hesitant about saying that somebody's lying about something that technically they didn't say happened. So I want to be very balanced about that. And at the same time, serious allegations also require responsible conversations. I think we're pretty good about it here on the channel, but I just want to be very clear about this. Like, we have to be, when I say that I'm deadly serious about these types of allegations and how they're carried out, this is this is not I think Cody might be stealing money and he might ripped off the OG3 and was like siphoning money to him and Robin. It's not on that same level. Like, this is not on that same level as far as I'm concerned. So with that being said, I think that we do a disservice not only to potential victims, but as well as people who potentially could be accused if we sit around and we start trying to fill in information or missing information, especially with just assumptions and guesswork and speculation. We can't turn the lack of details into reasons to create theories. So that's what I was kind of focusing on with this. And I wanted to kind of give a buffer to people who may follow other content creators who will come people who may have like content creators who may come out with their theories or speculation. I just want to kind of give a little bit of non-legal, just big unk advice. Don't get involved with other people's bullshit. Okay? Because people will fuck around and get you sued. Like, pardon my French. They will mess around and you'll be the one to get sued. And the crazy part is somebody who comes out and says this stuff, they won't face any consequences. And then they'll turn around and sue you like you the one did it because you shared some stuff on like a Facebook page or social media somewhere. And you the one that ruined their life. So I just wanted to be clear about that. We had a poll that says, should creators speculate about identities involved in serious allegation? 32% of you said absolutely not. 29% of you said only with verified information. 26% said depends on the situation. 13% of you said free speech protects discussion. Free speech does protect discussion, but if you are party to naming names, especially without evidence, then you can get roofed. Your finances can get roofed. Like, there is no freedom of protection or freedom of speech when it comes to defamation. And so, like, I'm looking specifically at like people who are looking at like, because we can sit here and say, the AUB is rife with this type of behavior. There are AUB families who would have lived around Mykelti and Lehigh, and we're assuming that is one of the neighbors. So we do like a background check because I can see this shit happening. Somebody doing like a background check or a home search or whatever to find out who is living next to her and come up with a list of names of people who potentially it could be. And you come out with that list of names, they could sue you. And that's just the thing. What is this? We had Megatron had some news come out. I also just had to break bad news to my kids as well. They're upset currently, and I'm just trying to be okay. A golf ball size mass was found on my thyroid today, so keep me lifted in prayers as well. That's rough. Well, hopefully you're getting treatment for it, and they find out that it's benign, just because it's, to my understanding, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but to my understanding, just because it's a mass doesn't necessarily mean that it's cancerous or the big C. So if it's benign, hopefully they can remove it without incident, and you keep pushing. But yeah, we'll definitely include you in the well, you're already in the hearts in the chat, but let's get some hearts in the chat from Megatron. Yeah, because I can sympathize with the thing too, that what makes it hard when you go through things like that is that you're regulating your emotional response to it because it's happening to you. But I think that and I don't want to speak for Megatron, but I know that for me, like, when you're faced with that type of questions or mortality, if you will, you start getting sick, or something comes up, or doctor finds something, or whatever the case may be. It's not necessarily that you worry about you, but you worry about what your kids, how they're taking it, and what they're going to do. You know what I mean? Or at least that's kind of where I have fallen historically. Like, you'll look at it and say, because it affects them. Like, I can, it's as crazy as it is. Most things I can handle happening to me. Like, if that you go to the doctor's office, they give you some bad news. I can handle that way better than if I went somewhere and one of my kids was going through something, my lady was going through something, and they were like, "This is what's happening." Like, because if it's me, I'm like, "Look, I just want to make sure y'all okay after I'm gone. Like, don't stop, don't get sad, don't be so fucking upset that you stop doing whatever you're doing. You know, keep pushing forward. Do not use me as an excuse. Those are the kind of speeches I have. But I want you, if anything, if you remember me, I don't want you to remember me and say, yeah, that's why I stopped going to school or I stopped trying to improve myself because you wasn't here to be proud of me. Like, no, you don't get to use me as an excuse. So if you want to use me for an excuse for anything, use me as an excuse to keep going. If I'm not going to be there at graduation, I want you to graduate with honors and know that I'm watching from wherever I am. And I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? That's what I want you to do. But it's hard. And then like Megatron has shared that she's the only parent that you have that the kids have. That's always a rough spot because if you're the one doing it, and I don't give a shit. And this is one of the conversations that we kind of had about like when Cody was doing the whole, my kids are adults and they don't need their dads. Kids always gonna need your parents. Kids always gonna need your parents. And that's one of the hard, like I said, that's one of the hard things in telling your kids bad news about you that you might not be around or you might have issues. Is because, especially when they're younger and they first getting started, you want to be there to help them and guide them when they first get started. But then at the same time, when they get older and they start going through shit, they get married, they have kids of their own, they're going to be looking for that advice too. So it's never a good time to go. Kids always going to need you and they always going to be looking for you for advice. Shit. I'm not a spring chicken no more. Yeah. I ain't spring chicken nothing. You know what I mean? I'm old tough bird now. You know what I mean? But there are times that I wish I could call my mom or just to have a conversation with her, and maybe get her thoughts on things or her perspective or, there's things that you go through that you wish you could share, because it's different. Like when you have parents, especially parents who are involved, when you share things with them, it's not just a matter of hey mom, this is what's going on with me. It's a point of pride and you want them to feel like, be proud of you, that type thing. So, and then unfortunately sometimes with sickness and illnesses and things, it deprives your child of that experience. Like their first get married, children, buying a house, career moves, talking them through things that they go through and giving them counsel. Like that's the hard part. But unironically, I was listening to a song earlier today, and we'll get back to what I was talking about with Mykelti. But I was listening to a song earlier that I thought was well composed, and it was talking about basically, love people while they're here, and tell people how you feel about them while they're still here. The whole, give them their flowers while they can still smell them, as opposed to, you calling ordering a bunch of flowers for a church somewhere. Let people know how you feel about them today, because nobody's promised tomorrow. And if you waiting on time and, you're arguing with folks for dumbass reasons and you're like, oh, I'm gonna let some time pass, or, I got plenty of time, I'll call them tomorrow. Time is undefeated. Okay. Time and death, undefeated. World champions, heavyweight champions of the world. All right. Because, time will always beat your ass. And death, I don't care how many times you sidestep that son bitch. Like, they only got to win once. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could avoid death a million times, like sidestep death a million damn times. Death only got to win once, and he got the title. So make sure you telling people how you feel about them. Don't be there, crying in the church, can't barely stand up. Everybody got to prop your ass up and shit because you in there acting a fool, but you couldn't take 5 minutes to pick up the phone and call them. Just say, hey, phone calls ain't that, phone calls damn near free now. Call all over the country. You don't even have to wait till after 7. For those who know. But yeah, I'm gonna follow your advice, Megatron. Keep talking that shit. Um, yeah. So what I was saying, like with the whole like issue with Mykelti and all that, like I get it. Because I was on the bandwagon too. I was all over that shit, when it first dropped. Like, I can't believe this. It's ridiculous, blah, 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 blah. And I still kind of stand on the fact that now that this accusation is out, it's a little hard to listen to foolishness when something so serious is on the table. But I think that this issue itself takes it out of the foible of you being able to make it like it doesn't mean anything. Like SA is one of the most serious accusations a person can make. Like as crazy as it is, I'd rather sit. Like if I had a choice, I'd rather sit and talk to a killer than somebody who's guilty of SA. Like I'd rather talk to somebody who be unaliving folk. Because even though as reprehensible as that is, like to do that to somebody is just crazy to me. And I think we also have to recognize that, survivors deserve to be heard and supported. They need to feel like, they're not being re-brutalized by doubts and being forced to prove things that, every little bit of thing that they say and having it balanced out. But when it comes to like public commentary, it's got to be separate. So it's one thing if she's reporting it to authorities and she's telling people what's going on. It's another thing when you kind of just saying in passing, and we start to analyze like what was stated, what was said, what can be verified based off of what you said, and then break that all away from what are we assuming? What are we putting on her that she may not even be putting on herself? Like, because there is such a panacea of, there's such a wide birth of what SA could entail. It's one of those amorphous things. Like one person hears it, and it could be you grab somebody's arm or you kiss somebody on the cheek, right? That could be the lower end of it. Catch a girl, kiss a girl, catch a girl, hug a girl, catch a girl, freak a girl. Everybody's participating. Technically, that's SA. Especially if they running away and they really trying to get away from your ass. But we was just playing a game, and that's completely different than somebody dugger your ass, right? Completely different. So we have to be careful that we're not putting things on to her that she's not asserting for herself. That's why I say that we have to be careful about like some of the speculations and what we're trying to say. So I guess the question is like, how do we support someone who is sharing their story without creating a public trial based on incomplete information? And that's one of the things that I'm concerned about. And that's probably why I really won't be discussing it much more after tonight, because it gets to a point where it just starts to become speculation and us trying to piece things together. And there's not enough and this is, it's pretty much in line with how Mykelti approaches things. We just don't have enough information. Believe, not believe, irrelevant. Like we don't have enough. Like honestly, I don't think, if I want to be 100% honest, I don't know if we have enough information to actually assert that this is something that she's saying actually happened. Because like I said, the door is open there. I've said this from the beginning. The door is open there for her to be able to say, no, you misunderstood me. That's not what I meant. I didn't mean that. I meant something else. There's a point of confusion. Like it's not very clear as to what she's saying happened. And if it's something, especially when you start putting appearance into it, and she said she went back and tattled on what was going on, if you're looking at Christine, Mary, Janelle, and Cody, and she went back and reported this incident to them, and they listened to her talk about it, if the incident itself wasn't what they would consider to be SA, like I said, there's a whole spectrum of what that actually could mean. That's why I want to be like, that's why if that accusation comes up, I want to be crystal clear as to what you're saying. What are you saying? Like, because if I'm playing football, I catch a ball, I score a touchdown, and one of the players come by and smack me in the ass, technically that's sexual assault. Right? But I don't expect that guy to be arrested. You understand what I mean? Like, I don't expect them to go to jail. That's not my expectation. I could go back and be like, hey, that guy slammed me in the butt. James, you got to tell him, don't put your hands on me, and, let the coach know, and this, that, and other. But we're not going to call the cops. Or if it's something where I'm participating in some catch a boy, kiss a boy, right? We'll flip it around a little bit. And I want to kiss little Pretty Missy, but, you got Pretty Missy, you got Portia, you got Lexus, you got Pretty Missy, Portia, Lexus, and Mercedes. And then you got Minivan, and Minivan catching everybody, right? I don't want to kiss Minivan, but I volunteered to play the game because I wanted to try to get it one of them four. But then the big girl, she fast as shit, and that's the one I'm not attracted to, but she catching everybody, and she want to play the game, so she kissed me. SA. I go back and tell my parents, I got assaulted. No, you didn't, James. You volunteered to play the game. You were playing the game. Don't come back with no bullshit. It could be that. I don't know. And that's the whole point. That's not me saying that I don't believe her. That's not me saying that she's a liar. That's just me saying that we aren't clear on anything because she didn't tell us anything. And that's where I say we got to be careful, because I feel the ground shifting. And I feel a slippery slope coming where people are going to start making accusations because everybody on social media wants to be the first to report shit. They want to be the first to get the big clicks. They want to be the first to open up the, appear to be smart, the first one to discover some shit. And this is how mistakes get made. And I, am I concerned about other YouTubers who do it? I mean, they got to conduct their business the way they conduct their business. Some of them are far more successful than I am. So they're not going to listen to my ass anyway. But what I do want to kind of pull the coattails on are people who are members or subscribers to these channels that, don't get caught up riding with these folks, sharing that information, because you can mess around and be part of that if legal action is taken, you can be part of that legal action. Because despite what people say, you do not have a freedom of speech right to accuse somebody of a crime, especially without proof. And if that crime leads to them being terminated from their job, because let's be honest, with social media the way it is now, people get fired off of their jobs all the time behind Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, so on and so forth. If somebody loses their employment because an accusation came up and some content creator listed this person as a potential CSA victimizer, you could be in. Like, when they sue, they come in heavy. They'll mess around and sink your battleship. Because if it was me, I'm just saying from my perspective, I don't assume that nobody's better than me. And if somebody said that shit about me, I'm not only going to sue you for what I lost, like what I'm out of pocket for, which would be compensatory damages. I'm suing you for punitive damages, which in some cases could be trouble the compensatory damages. Like, so whatever I'd say I'm losing, or how much money I say I lost, or damage to reputation or opportunities that I lose, I'm suing you for that time. And plus I'm suing you for that times 3. And the more people you get in the bucket, the better opportunity you have to recover money. That's just a simple ass legal strategy. Yeah, you could sue the content creator with the deep pockets, but deep pockets mean they can also afford attorneys. And they have the residual income to sit there and try to get themselves out of it. And the question you got to ask yourself, do I have the money to pay for attorney fees and all that to get myself out of it? And that's how they get your ass. Because some of these people, you get banged out, they will drop your ass off. Their attorney will stand up in the middle of the court and be like, Your Honor, my client, this content creator, XYZ, they came up with this theory. They said that it was all alleged or whatever. Mr. or Mrs. So-and-so, channel user, shared this information. They made their own independent remarks. They made it sound as though Mr. So-and-so was actually the perpetrator. My client had nothing to do with it. We moved to have my client removed from this case. And if they pay enough and they do enough motion practice, there's a possibility that content creator who is providing most of the cover and defense with their attorney gets removed from the case. And that just leaves you potentially the pro se litigant trying to answer these questions that you need an attorney to answer. And that's how you get your battleships on. So I'm just pulling coattails. That's all I'm saying. Like, and there is a point where it's like the danger of internet investigations. Like, it's just, social media in itself, it kind of encourages people to play detective. And I get it, what I mean? Because we have so much information that we're available to, but you don't have like witness testimony. You don't have eyewitness testimony. Technically, you don't even have access to the victim and asking them questions. You're just kind of putting shit together best you can. And so you have situations where folks are trying to connect the dots, whether it's timelines, family relationships, old interviews, past conflicts, affiliations with certain groups or organizations, and how those organizations and those relationships may have played a part in it. And at the end of the day, we always have to remember, especially when it comes to defamation lawsuits, a theory is not evidence. Suspicion is not proof. A feeling is not a fact. And if you go for defamation, the one defense you have, the one best defense you have when it comes to defamation is that whatever you said happened is true. Truth is always will defeat any defamation case. But you have to be able to get to the truth, again, with evidence, not theory, with proof, not suspicion, with facts, not feelings. And, even with that, like there's a point where you just ask the question, when does this become harmful to real people? Because the people that will most likely be pulled into this, whom Mykelti is potentially going to accuse, are not people from the show. These are not famous people who participated in Sister Wives. And this is where she has to be a little careful. Because if I come out and say something against Sylvester Stallone or Denzel Washington or with Johnny Depp being sued by Amber Heard, and they come out, the bar for defamation, to prove defamation on a public figure, is considerably higher than it is for a regular, everyday average Joe person. Right? You don't have as many protections as accusing somebody who's a regular Joe and pulling them in. That's why, like, even with Robin accusing her ex-husband, like, technically, because he's not a public figure, he was actually in a better situation. Like, if Robin came out and accused Cody, he's a public figure. So it's harder for him to sue for defamation. Preston, Robin's ex-husband, because he's not a public figure, it's a lot easier for him to sue for defamation. Loss of, money or whatever the case may be. It's a lot easier. And there's also just a couple things to consider. We talk about defamation risk for creators and even for people who support content creators. Defamation laws apply online. So just because you posted it online or you said it on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, or wherever, the laws still apply. And the courts are, they're not catching up to the technology, but they are acknowledging that the technology exists and the damage that the technology can do. Repeating rumors, repeating speculation can also create liability. So that's what I was saying. Like if you share videos that somebody is speculating in and they're defaming somebody, by you sharing that and repeating that rumor or arguing that rumor or even jumping in some of the chats or whatever, and you're repeating that rumor, that can create liability as far as defamation is concerned. And even when you say things like everybody got that little trick where hacky sack trick where they say allegedly this is what happened, allegedly this person is guilty, allegedly we don't know, that does not automatically protect you. That shit is not bulletproof. That is not bulletproof. Because if you keep repeating a lie, you're still telling a lie. You're reinforcing it. And especially the more that lie is repeated, the stronger that lie becomes and the more liable you are for that lie. Because the more you repeat it, the more it becomes believable and it can be misinterpreted as the truth. And adding commentary does not make a false claim safe. Like me going out and coming out and saying that somebody is accused of doing something and just because I put my 2 cents on it, even if I say, no, this probably didn't happen, I could potentially be in trouble for adding to it because I'm creating an environment where I'm spreading said rumor, spreading said lie, or spreading said defamatory statement. Private individuals often have fewer resources to defend themselves publicly. And this is what I was talking about with regard to, if you are not a huge content creator and you're not making $100,000, $200,000-$300,000, which I am not. If you're not one of them people making crazy money and you just have, if you making that kind of content and you making that kind of money, you should have money going into a legal fund. Just my two. Like you should have money going into a legal fund, and you have the residual income to be able to defend yourself. Most people don't have that. Like if I'm going to sue some people, shit, there's probably some people I need to sue, but I don't have money to put together for an attorney. You understand what I mean? Like you have to hire an attorney. And when you hire an attorney for this type of case, this is not the type of case where you see on you watching TV and they do what's called a contingency fee agreement where we don't get paid unless you get paid and if you don't win your case, then we don't get any money. No, this is you are dropping a retention. You're dropping a retainer fee. This is you walking into a lawyer's office, you hitting them with anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000, just stacks. You hit them with 20 stacks, dropping it on the table and saying, okay, come back to me when this runs out. Because you understand that by the time you get to court, you're going to be back in that office 2 or 3 times at least refilling that tank. And that's all money that you're never going to get back. That's giving money away. Straight up. Because that's all legal fees. That's not, when I get my verdict come in, I'm gonna get all this back. No, you're not. This is so you don't lose your house. That's what this money's for. I'm trying not to lose my house money. Not I'm gonna get paid and buy a house money. I'm not trying to be in debt forever money. And it kind of like, I don't know, because I just had that weird suspicion, my spidey senses going on, that some creators don't really have the understanding or understand the difference between discussing a public figure like Mykelti, who's voluntarily on YouTube and does a TV show, and somebody whom she may have interacted with in the past who may or may not have done something, and you discussing it. And even if she comes out and says this person's name, you can get banged out by spreading it. You can get sued by spreading it because you have to be able to prove that what she said is true or accurate. And that's where, like I said, that's, I might be sounding like a nervous Nelly, but I'm just trying to spread the word. And because there's always a point too, like why famous families create unique challenges. Reality TV creates an illusion that viewers know everything about these people. Like we're somehow tied in and tapped in to who these people are. The truth of the matter is, and we kind of discussed this on Saturday a little bit. The truth of the matter is, when it comes to a lot of these people, we don't know these folks. We know what the show tells us about them and how they're presented. And half the time, the narrative that they put out isn't necessarily commiserate with the realities of who they are as a person. They're kind of a caricature, like when you think of like Christine. Oh, she's a great mom. She cares about her kids. She's such a wonderful mother. What evidence do we have that Christine is a wonderful mother, other than people say that that's what it is? I'm not saying she's a bad mom. I'm not saying it is not true. I'm just simply saying, what evidence do we have that any of that is true? What evidence do we have that Janelle is like this great business person? Other than that's what people say. She says it about herself. And then, that's just something that the fan base is kind of spread around about each other. But what evidence, like, what can you point to me to say this is decisions that Janelle made, which demonstrates that she's this great business mind? Mary's nasty. Okay. She's the nasty first wife. Is it something specifically we're looking at, or is it just a narrative that we're kind of passing on? Even Cody Robin, like to a point, because everybody who apparently interviews Cody and Robin, they are so enamored with how awesome and charismatic he is. It just none of the fans are buying it because that's not part of the fan legend, the story legend. So we don't really know these people like that. And that's one of the concerns that I have is that, we're kind of sold an image and we think we know who these people are. We think we understand who they are, but do we really? Because we always have to remember that cameras only capture selected moments. And even those moments are selected because they help to push or tell a narrative that the production company wants to tell. And they will edit out or exclude any information which is contradictory or does not make it crystal clear as to what they're trying to say. Editing creates narratives. Absolutely. Family dynamics are complicated. Why do the adult kids strive and try to have a relationship with Cody, even though, according to the show, it comes off clear that he doesn't want to have relationships with them and he's blaming them for not coming around and all that other stuff? At the end of the day, being in a family is hard. It's not easy. People do shit all the time in families that don't make no damn sense. And ultimately, and this is what I stress when it comes to these accusations, we don't have complete information. If anything, we have an implication from a person who has historically provided some sketchy retellings of stories, granted, but there's not even really an accusation or a clear storytelling of what has happened. So even with the accusation, is not a complete accusation. And in the surrounding stories around that accusations, that can't be clear because we don't even know what she's alleging. So like to even have the conversation of whether it's true, not true, who is involved, was not involved, et cetera, I don't even think we're at a point now where I can say I don't believe her because what am I not believing? You understand what I mean? Like, what am I actually saying I don't believe? Because she didn't tell me anything. She didn't say anything. And it, to a weird way, it's pretty, to be cynical. It's smart because you get all the benefit, none of the downside. You get to make the accusation, make the implication, but then you can step away from it and say, that's not what I meant. I never said that. Because if she comes out tomorrow and says, look, I never said that I was, the way you guys are taking it, I never said it went that far. And what are we going to say? No, because we want to take you serious. That's your fault. You made assumptions. I never came out. She never came out and said anything. She didn't come out and say anything for real. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I just want to pull coattails and say at least to the people who watch my stuff that, be careful as you engage with stuff. Because I'm telling you, there's going to be a huge, because I watched the, when Big G's passed. And that's what kind of got me thinking about it. When Big G's passed, people were making all kinds of speculation as to why that young man did what he did. And there's no way in the world, one, that any content creator could possibly know why he did what he did. We could come up with like reasons based on the show or the narrative that they tell on the show, but we don't know anything about this young man. I don't know what kind of person he was. I don't know what he was going through. I don't know what challenges he faced. I don't know if he owed somebody money or he felt like he was failing, or maybe he was at a point where, he was being kicked out of the service or whatever. I don't know. It could have been any number of reasons. The girlfriend broke up with him. He could have been getting kicked out of the service for it's implied that he had a substance issue, a drinking problem. Maybe he was getting kicked out. He got caught boozing it on duty or whatever. And he was about to be dishonorably discharged from the service, which, for those who don't know, that's a big damn deal. Get kicked out of the service. I know somebody got kicked out once. For that very reason, actually. His dad was like a colonel in the Air Force. He went and joined the Coast Guard. I met him because they were up here from like Nashville or something. And I knew that family through the wife. And as it turned out, like, he wound up going to the Coast Guard, was there for about a year, got through boot, was on the ships and stuff, and he couldn't stop, partying or whatever. They booted him out. And like, for somebody who built their whole life around that could be enough. I don't know. I don't know. And then for people to come out and make all kinds of assumptions that it was this one and that one, and because the relationship with his dad, the relationship with his mom, and his mom is at fault because she didn't do this, that we don't know. And I watched that happen with Big G. So it's not a stretch for me to think that with, so little happening in the sister wife verse right now, there's so little to talk about because the last 2 seasons were basically bullshit. And people are trying to keep that gravy train rolling. There's going to be stories that are going to start popping up. And part of those stories are going to be clickbait to try to get you to log on and watch the people speculate and put things together in those stories. But it's also going to involve heavily on users and fans and subscribers sharing those stories. And if you're sharing those stories, especially if they're naming people and people get defamed, you are in the lawsuit. Simple as that. And like I said, when it comes to a lot of this stuff, I think it's a great idea for, if there's additional statements, I think it's a great idea for us to clarify what those additional statements are, what is actually being said. It's also a great opportunity for us to springboard into talking about broader issues surrounding these kind of abuse disclosures, supporting people who are going through these things, how we can help them to find the courage and strength to be able to come back and report if possible, if necessary. Discussing family dynamics in general, like how to become better parents, how to become better listeners when it comes to things that, better observers when it comes to our kids and what they're going through. I think this is a great springboard for those types of discussions. And certainly, I think it's a great way for us to encourage resources and support. Like if you're in a town or a place where you know that there are resources and places where people can go to get help if they are faced with these types of challenges, I think this is an opportunity for us to be able to have those bigger discussions. That's what I've always liked about pursuing a lot of the reality TV and the way I was trying to do it was that it wasn't just about talking about this one instance or one situation, but trying to talk about it in a broader sense where if somebody else is going through this thing, which may be familiar to them, they are able to find the resources necessary for them to be able to help themselves in that situation. And the fact that they see it on TV and somebody else going through it, it also is comforting in knowing that you're not the only one. You're not alone. I think that that's a big thing. Where I think that, you know, content creators and especially subscribers and people who view those channels, what we need to avoid is naming possible suspects, especially when we don't know shit, presenting theories as facts. You know, oh, they grew up in the AUB. You know, the AUB is all about them kid brides and blah, blah, blah. And that's not fact. That's a theory. That's a theory. And you're trying to apply a theory, incredible theory, but you're trying to apply a theory onto a situation and overlap that as a fact. And that doesn't, just because it may be true in some instances, even your theory may be true, it doesn't make it a fact, and certainly not a fact or an element in this particular crime. Claiming to know private events when you have no way of knowing private events. One of the things that cracks me up is like people will talk about these personal conversations and text messages and shit. And if you ask them, like, okay, then what's Janelle's phone number? You have no idea. But you want to tell me what she was talking about on the phone? Like, come on, we just, we just got to be responsible. Encouraging viewers to investigate people. You know, do not investigate nobody. We are not the police. And that also comes to a point, too, where, you know, sometimes like vigilante justice, that shit look cool on TV. But we never want to be in a situation where we are investigating people and it impedes or it interferes with law enforcement. It doesn't help a victim. It doesn't help a community. It doesn't bring about justice. If I find out certain information and somehow I mess it up, what am I talking about messing it up? If I'm in town and I go next door and for some reason I dig something up and I find some physical evidence of a crime, there is a thing called in jurisprudence in law enforcement called the chain of custody. The chain of custody. And what that means is that you ask specific questions. What was found? Like, what's the crime? You know, was there a tool of said crime, criminality? How was it involved? Where was it found? Who found it? Etc. etc. Where did it go? Who had it? Who came in contact with it? Etc. etc. This is part of the reason why if you ever watch a cop show or a CSI or, you know, Law and Order, whoever, when the cops have, or in real life, depending on where you live, the cops have like a crime will be committed, they take the area off and they don't let anybody in. The reason they don't let anybody in is because everybody who walks into that crime scene, they have to account for. Every person who crosses that line into that crime scene, they have to account for that person, what they were doing there, why they were there, what they touched, what they didn't touch. You know, if you find a footprint and they say, oh, this is the footprint from the suspect, and it turns out to be yours, you know, that could create a problem. Or there's certain dirt that's found on the ground, and this dirt came from such and such and so and blah, blah, blah. That becomes a problem because they have to account for that. If you find there's a pew pew and you find the ratchet, the hammer, the rod, the pistoli, whatever you want to call it, the Roscoe, and you pick it up and take it to the police station. They don't have evidence. They don't have pictures of where it was, how it was found, what condition it was found in. They don't know any of that. They know you picked it up and you came in with it, but they can't prove where it came from. You found it in a dumpster. I found it in a dumpster on 5th Street. The suspect was seen walking past the dumpster on 5th Street. I went because I got access to the cameras online. I went down there, did some dumpster diving. I found it. And instead of me calling the police and telling them what I saw and having them go collect evidence, I went down, collected the evidence, put it in a bag, and took it down to the police station. Now, my fingerprints on the shit, right? Might be the only fingerprints on it because dude wiped the damn thing down. My fingerprints on it, and I bring the weapon to the damn police station. His attorney is going to say it was mine. And they don't have a chain of custody on that. Because I am the chain of custody. And then from that point, they'll go, okay, we took it from James on my take. We put it in, we filed it in his evidence. It remained in the evidence locker up until XYZ till we got to court and we did testing and this, that, and other. Every time they take that thing out, they test it, they do something with it. There's a person who signs off on it every time. And they have a log of who did what with what, when, where, and how, and why. That's part of the chain of custody. And my little investigation, even though I call myself helping, I could be destroying the case. I could be coming up with alternate reasons as to why things happen. I could be in the way. So you got to let cops do their damn jobs. Right? So that's just, I'm going to fall off my damn soapbox on that. I'm going to post another poll question. Post another poll question. Let's get the results and we'll open up the lines for some phone calls and see what you guys are thinking. Just the results on where we are. Okay. One second. What the hell? Okay, should creators speculate about identities involved in serious allegations? Only with verified information, 33%. Absolutely not, 31%. Depends on the situation, 26%. Free speech protects discussion, 10%. All right. Let me post another poll question. All right. This next poll question, can you support someone sharing trauma without knowing every detail? Yeah, that's kind of an interesting question. Can you support someone sharing trauma without knowing every detail? First answer, yes. Compassion comes first. Second answer, yes, but facts still matter. Third answer, damn. No, I need proof. Cold-blooded. Cold-blooded. I'm sorry. I don't want to wait. I don't want to sway anybody. I don't believe you until you can prove it. And then, of course, we have the unsure. Like, I guess it depends on the situation or whatever. But I'm going to start that poll. All right. No, I need to know for sure. Local Art Switch said, remember 15 months? Welcome, Local Art Switch. Hey, what's going on? Missed you on Saturday. You know, we had a little drama for your mama on Saturday. It was crazy. So maybe you knew Local Art Switch. You might have been seeing into the future and just like, yeah, it's going to be trippy. Making vague hints is harmful to victims. People already don't believe us. Yeah. I think that because I'm in a torn situation because I don't want to ever discourage somebody from coming out and revealing something that's true, especially with what they're comfortable with. But I think that has to be kind of mixed into the decision. That when you come forward, you whether we like it or not, you will be looked at and scrutinized in these types of allegations. There are going to be questions where people are like, I don't know if I believe this person. It shit don't sound right. Like you have to be willing to. I think there's a point where you just have to be willing to accept that fact that that's a reality of it. And so I think the best way for you to defend against that is for you to have more information. Be more solid. If you're ready to come out and talk about it, then come out and talk about it. If you're not ready, then the potentially one of the worst things you can do is come out and you're not ready. Because if you do hit kind of a loggerhead, you might not get the support that you want. It's kind of I feel like, not to take this in too much of a crazy situation. I had said this before about some of the shows on TLC and even like just mainstream media in general. That with because I'm old enough, I remember with certain orientations, I'm not even gonna call it a lifestyle, but certain orientations, people would come out and they say, young man be like, I like boys, or young lady be like, I like girls. And then, people would get disowned. But now, because of like the desire to create this environment where people are accepting, I think people can be largely misinformed when it comes to some of this stuff. Like they come out and they say, mom, dad, I'm this way and this is who I am. And on TV shows, that's okay. We love you anyway. And I just want you to be happy and find somebody who's going to love you the way I love you. Good, awesome shit. Awesome sauce. But it ignores the reality that some people going to come out and say this stuff and they're going to get shellacked. They're getting put out of their house. They're getting disowned. You understand what I mean? They're going to get called everything but a child of God on the way out of the house too. They're going to get, oh, you the devil, you evil so-and-so. I don't want you. Not only can you not talk to me or your father anymore, but I don't want you around your brothers and sisters because I don't need them falling for your evil influence. Like just terrible shit. Right. And I think that with some of this, in that same vein, I do have concerns that in an ideal world, people would feel comfortable in coming forward and telling their story, and people will listen to them and try to help them and provide resources for them and try to not only bring about like authority involvement, but also try to get people, mental health people involved to try to help them through this very tough and trying time so that they can get them the help that they need. Because it's not just about putting people in jail. It's about trying to heal the survivors as well. So this doesn't become the only thing that they have, the only thing they're holding on to, that they realize that there's so much more to their lives than just this one thing, right? And that would be, for me, that would be ideal. But in just real sense, I've seen the shit. I've seen it like in colleges and stuff, especially like, I've been around. I was in a lot of the offices and things like that in school, like just by the nature of like positions and stuff I've held, as a student or whatever, and in advocacy issues and things of that nature, where it really depends on who did it. And it's crazy as shit to say that. But if you have Joe Blow and he's a regular average guy or he's kind of weird and he take it too far with a young lady, they'll kick his ass clean out of school, not think twice about it. But if you have an athlete who's making the school millions of dollars, when you walk through campus and you see his picture hanging up on banners, and he takes it too far with a young lady, or he does something inappropriate. Like I know a basketball player. He went into a young lady's room. He broke into this girl's room. She came fucking around, came home on him. Hilarious. And she came home and he was in the room. So she keyed in the room. He in the room stealing her shit. Shit, what the hell you doing there? He push out the room and close the door, and he trapped in the room. She called security. The security people come there. They call the cops. They take him out of there. He didn't get kicked out of school. You know what they did? They transferred him. He got what's called a red shirt, where he didn't play for the rest of the season, and they benched him when he got transferred to another school, and he continued to play basketball when I'm graduating. Right? Situations where things of a more physical nature happen. They cover that shit up. If and it depends on who it is. So when women come out and say, that's why I say, like, when women come out and say that they are hesitant about coming forward, they don't know if they're going to be believed, they don't know if the authorities are going to take them serious. I take that shit serious because I know it happens. I'm not speculating. I'm not guessing. This ain't what I heard happen. I've seen it happen. Women will be, this is what happened. This is the person who did it. This is the time. This is what he did. This is blah, 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 da, 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 da. These are witnesses. And the school will cover that shit up. Cover it up. So what is that? That only not has a chilling effect on the person making the accusations, but it also has a chilling effect on every other person whom that dude or one of his buddies or cohorts may come in contact with. Because now you're in a situation where if it happens to you, you've already seen what the school is capable of doing to this young lady. Right? I'm talking about shit'll happen. They'll be in class together. They'll go to a party or something. Something will happen. Then she got to sit in class. And her only real choice or recourse at that point is to drop out of the class or drop out of school because he's not going nowhere. And that has a chilling effect on not only, like I said, that young lady, but all potential victims. So when I say that, like, these cases, a lot of times are not only underreported, they're unreported. Like, it happens way more than people would ever be comfortable with. It's just that folks don't feel comfortable telling because people don't necessarily believe victims. Or if they might even believe them and know that this shit happened, but they don't want to do anything about it. So so this is a constant struggle. And that's why I'm so adamant about making sure that when we make these accusations, especially as content creators, if I make an accusation against somebody or I say that something happens, I want to be sure. If I ask questions, part of the reason why I want to be sure that there's actually an accusation there, not just an implication of an accusation, is because if it's proven that, like, I jump on the bandwagon, this is what happened to her, this is what's wrong with the system, these are horrible people, they should have backed her up, they should have believed her, they didn't do the right thing, and then she comes back and pulls a Mary on my ass where she say, I totally got the shit wrong and I need to mind my own business because now I'm speculating on a bunch of stuff that I don't know nothing about and I totally got it wrong. Then the next time something happens and I say something, will I be taken seriously? Has my credibility when it comes to the commentary that I provide, has that now been compromised? So that's why I tend to ask questions. That's why I tend to I'm very hesitant about just not jumping into these types of situations with both feet and saying it's absolutely true, we got to believe her because she said it. Or more to the point, she didn't say it, she implied it. That's why I take that position. But thank you, Local Art Switch. He also had a $5 super chat. Said, speculation on this is dangerous. One person's guess in a video becomes truth as more people pass the rumor on. 100%. What's the old saying? Truth is already spread, jumped off and ran around town by the time, or a lie has already jumped up and ran around town by the time truth has got up and before it even get a chance to put his pants on. Like a lie can take on a life of itself. And if it's spread enough, you can't tell the difference. And again, that's where a lot of the defamation lawsuits and the damage that can be wrought from a defamation lawsuit will kind of come into play. Because if you say a thing enough, it's just it becomes a challenge on whether it's true or not. And it's extremely dangerous. But let me give you a little something. Look, our Twitch. Get a little something. All right. Then we had a Jody Pierce Scholar with a $49.99 super chat. I wanted to defend my point. My niece came to me. Family didn't believe her. I said either way, she needed to be out of her home. A friend confided in me. Her dad went to prison. So that's why it's just me worked up. Just in general, it takes courage to tell. Absolutely. I don't doubt the fact that it takes a lot of courage to tell. And I don't question that. And nor do I question, like, if somebody, I think that there's a little bit of a point too. If somebody comes to you and says, this is what happened to me, and they lay their case out and they say, this is what happened to me, XYZ, so-and-so, this time, this place, and, you know, they don't necessarily have to get into the gory details of it, but it becomes clear that something did happen. I think that that's 100% on point with you reporting, you letting people know. If I'm not sure, I let people know, because I don't think that that's something that I can keep to myself, right? I think that that's fair. But in this particular case, like I said, I can't point to anything where Mykelti's actually making an accusation. And that's the part that I'm very hesitant about, because she didn't say that this is what happened, this is the person. There's, because like I said, sexual assault is, I probably just got demonetized, but SA does have a broad spectrum of what it could mean. Like I said, SA could be, you know, you were over at the neighbor's house, 40-year-old man, you 12, he's hitting on you, trying to, touch your knees and all kinds of stuff. SA, right? Clearly SA. Same time, kid playing baseball, hit a home run. He run high-fiving everybody after he crossed home plate. 3 of the guys slap him in the boot tag. SA, right? But are you going to the cops like, yeah, all them kids need to be in prison now, because they should have to report for the rest of their lives because they got excited about, booty checking this dude who just like this home run. There's a case I want to cover for my true crime. There was a hazing practice, quote unquote, that was happening at a basketball school, high school, on a basketball team, and those kids it went well beyond just implication. Like, these kids was going buck, like, it's crazy, like twerking on people, putting a butt, people faces, like, it's insane. The school knew about it, covered it up, like people going to jail. Like, the superintendent, I think, is in trouble. The principal got locked up at school for covering it up. So, I mean, I get it. Like, I think that, again, we just have to be very careful that we don't, and this is what I was talking about, like our personal experiences. We have to be careful about shading other people's experiences with our personal experiences and saying that this is what happened to them because this is something I've seen in my life, or this is something I've experienced, or this is something I've witnessed. And so therefore they must be going through something similar. And that's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Because she did not say, and again, I could be wrong. If you guys can find a statement which makes it clear that this is what she's alleging, and she's being crystal clear about what it is and what happened to her, and it's not an implication, which I don't think exists in that interview that she did last for Cults of Consciousness or whatever. I don't think it exists in that form. But if she comes out and does an additional statement, I think we have something a little more to hang our hat on. But right now, if you were to take this to the police, what would you charge the person with? And that's the question. Like, what would you legitimately charge them with? You know, it's just, that's why I'm just, and it's not, like I said, it's not for me. I don't think it's a question of credibility or believing or not believing her, because she hasn't said anything yet. Like, there really is an accusation for me to defend or deny at this point. And that's kind of where I'm at. I'm just merely saying that I don't want people to get caught up in the excitement of it all, or the mama bear, I'm gonna protect this child position of it all, and you protect into something, or you back into something that she's not saying. And especially, it would be crazy hurtful if you have people who go all in and trying to defend her, and then for her to turn around, and because her lawyer will pull her ass aside and say, look, if you go to court with this goes to court, and based on who they accused and all this, you gonna lose big time. I don't see these people losing a nickel trying to defend the fan base. And maybe I got it wrong. Maybe I'm being, an asshole here. But I just don't see them putting themselves out for you guys. And I see a lot of the fan base, because you guys are sensitive, caring, compassionate folks who do care about these issues. I can see a world where you may jump in to defend her and protect her, all your shit be damned, because you want the truth. But I don't necessarily see that being reciprocated. I just don't. Because again, I remember when people used to walk up to the wives and try to tell them that, Cody and Robin ripping them off, and the responses they had with those trivial things. If anything, you guys were trying to argue and defend them and protect them against somebody who was hurting them. And they would look you in the face and say, mind your business. You don't know what the fuck you talking about. Pardon my French. Yeah, et cetera, et cetera. You got it all wrong. You don't know my life. And basically clown fan base for defending them and bringing this stuff up. And, with this shit is like, compared to the crap that they was going through before, this is Hiroshima. This is Nagasaki. This is an atomic bomb, mushroom cloud land mother, right? This is a life destroyer. So if they feel like if they can take responsibility for shit that was happening to them and recognize that and take ownership of that, there's no way I see them running out, this person or that person shared this information from this content creator, which accused this person or put this together or made these allegations, and now there's a lawsuit. Let me just take time to write a letter in support, or click my camera on and support them for trying to support me or one of my kids. I don't even see them doing that. Much less if they talking about, you have a plaintiff who wants to add names to the defense list and start taking some money. I don't see them doing that for y'all. I just don't. And at the end of the day, I don't want to be that guy, but I'm more concerned about you guys and what could happen to y'all than I am necessarily about, Christine married Janelle. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. But this could, like I said, this shit could sink your battleship. Like this is bad. This is bad. Like accusations and speculation when it comes to this kind of stuff. It's one thing for me to speculate that Cody might be taking money. Like I said, Cody and Rob might be taking money from Janelle and Christine. They could probably explain it, and I could explain it based on stuff I've seen on TV. But with the information that Mykelti provided in that interview, I don't have anything where I could say, yeah, this is what happened, and this is why I'm justified in accusing somebody of something. I hope that makes sense. Like I said, it's not that I don't believe her. I don't not believe her because there hasn't been an accusation yet. But thank you so much, Jody. Appreciate you. All right. Was this Melly from Notes to Self shared that she was essayed by her future husband before they were married, and her father blamed her and made her apologize to the guy? Like, what the F? Yeah. I'm aware of that. And I'll look. I was actually going to make something about it, but it's not my story to tell, and I didn't want to step on toes or disrespect her story by talking too much about it, because I definitely got some opinions about that shit. But that kind of stuff does happen, especially in that group. But again, again, that's one of those things where we know that this kind of thing, or I don't say we know, we speculate, and we have somewhat of an understanding this happens within this type of group, but that doesn't necessarily point to guilt or innocence. Association is not guilt. But yeah, I am I'm very aware of that situation. That actually that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking because when she described it, and the fact that she was forced to marry the dude who did that to her is insane. That shit is insane too. I don't know. Crazy. But let me I gotta get you guys in. Hold on a second. Make sure you go to the My Take on Reality Live and subscribe, because starting next week, I'll still be able to play some of the lives here. I'll still be able to play some of the lives here, but I'm going to set it up. It'll just be observe only. So if you want to be able to participate in the chat or whatever, you'll have to be logged in through My Take on Reality Live. All right. All right. Someone said Saturday that Christine was in North Carolina helping Mykelti with the kids. Would not shock me at all if they told her to shut the F up. Yeah. Because again, this type of thing could sink that whole battleship. They might have told her to shut up, which would be insane, because that would be the part that got her in the most trouble. Like the whole idea that she might have told her not to talk or whatever, or tattling, and then you go down there, first thing you do is you got to shut up. Like that's that's like being accused of stealing, and then you go to steal some shit so that they wouldn't accuse you of stealing. I'm gonna go in there and steal the video recorder. The video recorder of you stealing shit. You gonna go steal? You think that's gonna help your case? Yes. Yeah, if you get caught, it just confirms that you're completely guilty. Good luck with that, Chief. But we got a local art switch in the house. What's going on, local art switch? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you, James?
Doing very well. Welcome
Good.
to the show.
Well, thank you for having me. I wrote some notes so that way I don't take 3 million years. I know that there's people behind me, I imagine. So at the end of that live, Mykelti did say that something happened, but she's not ready to talk about it, which is vague. But in relation to what she was alleging or hinting at before, like it's all speculation, absolutely, and that's dangerous. If with everybody's blessing, I kind of want to talk out about both sides of my mouth with this next part.
Okay.
So I believe, like in Jody's example, that we need to believe first, get the kid out, and then maybe verify after.
Mhm.
Mykelti, in my opinion, don't get James in trouble, anybody. Mykelti knows what she's doing. With that many kids in the original family, it is likely something happened to one of them. Reported stats are about 1 in 3 girls before they're 18. And that's just what's reported, what we know, right?
Right.
And so it means it's higher generally anyway. And in these cultures where we have purity culture and, don't tell anybody what's happening. And even if it did happen, it was probably your fault anyway. It's probably much higher, right? So in real life, if somebody tells me something, I don't ask for receipts. Now, generally, when they tell me something, it happened a while ago or when they were a child, so there's no need for me to make a report, right?
Mhm.
So I just I choose to believe them, right? Because they're telling me a thing. Um, for Mykelti, though, or people like her, in the amount of because she's not a main person on the show, but she's been featured in the show. She has a platform that's not completely insignificant. I don't know what her numbers are, but she does have a platform. And so for her and people like her in general, I think she does owe more than a Yahoo like myself. Um, like I'm just a nobody on the internet, which is great. That sounded sarcastic, but I don't mean it like that. I don't owe the general public as much information, I feel, as somebody like Mykelti would. There are super fans of this show, and it is only a matter of time, I think, that people will be speculating. They will try to figure out what time frame she's talking about. They'll try to figure out who was in and around the family in this time frame. I've already seen people be like, "Oh, well, it makes sense as to why she was at Robin's house all the time."
Mm.
Like, people are already starting to go there, and it is so dangerous. Uh, like, on the internet especially, there's gonna be people doxing, there's gonna be people sending threatening letters or emails. Like you, I feel like I can almost see it, even though it hasn't happened yet. I hope I'm wrong.
Right.
Um, but, like, Mykelti, and I'm sorry, I'm overusing her, um, but I think it's relevant. She's, um I find her personally to be an unreliable narrator. Um, I'm trying to be nice because I do feel bad. I want to believe the stories that she's telling, and I believe that she believes it to a certain extent. Um, like her accusations against Mary, for example, play into this idea that I have that she's not necessarily the most trustworthy person to be just like she says these things and then she has no real example. Um, and like abuse in general is what's it called? A spectrum, right?
Right.
What you and I might consider that may be different for her. Like her complaining that Mary yelled at her for asking money. Do I think Mary overreacted? Yes. Do I think it's horrific ABUSE? No.
Right.
Like, the fact that she uses that as an example is a red flag to me. Especially when most of the kids, not all, some of the kids have said, Cody was hitting us too, but it's only a problem when the female parents are raising their hands, and that's a very interesting difference to me. Yeah, so the fact that Mykelti does not have a single actual example is troubling to me. Jody, I agree with you, because like I felt like when I was writing my notes, I was almost attacking Jody, not on purpose, because overall, I agree. We need, like, if somebody came to you, James, a child, and was like, "Hey, this is happening to me," I would assume that you would initially trust them because it's too big of a risk to not initially, right?
Right.
We at least make phone calls. We try to intervene, and then hopefully the proper authorities do the interviewing and verifying, right? Trust but verify.
Mm.
She's an adult. She has a platform. She knows what she's doing. So yeah. Yeah, the internet is full of detectives, I wrote down. And like, I don't know if you saw this, but the FBI recently opened a page on Reddit where these images are taken from CSA material, CSAM, right?
Mm.
And the child is not in the photo, to be clear, but you can see the background. It might be just a picture of a t-shirt, just trying to get people, the FBI has figured out, oh, somebody might recognize this and might be able to place where this apartment is or whatever it is. But there's also just kind of bad actors. Like you said, everybody wants to be the first because you'll get all the views or whatever. And it's really terrifying. And, mercy on the soul that gets accused because they were in the wrong place at the wrong time. Yeah, I hope that makes sense. That's everything I wanted to say. I think it's a good subject. And yeah, I don't want to see anybody be hurt by it. And these type of, like, if she backtracks, because she sort of more hinted at the end that something happened, but she wasn't ready to talk about it. Um, I like, yes, in your own time, but then don't say anything at all. And it's not my right to, what's it called? Be judge and jury of what
Mm.
a person is allowed to say. But when you have a platform as influential as hers, she's able to get interviews. Like, Cult to Consciousness is not an insignificant channel, right? I think it's really, really dangerous. So anyway, thank you. I appreciate your time. I hope I made sense.
No, you did. I mean, I would just say this too. Like, I think that especially if you are in a position where you do have a larger platform, you are exposed to more people,
Yeah.
and in all that, you have to recognize that every move you make,
Mhm.
it's not just, and this is the kind of the cruel nature of understanding community. It's not just about you,
Mhm.
because this has a ripple effect on other people, other victims. Like, because if you have somebody who is debating whether they want to come forward or not, and you have somebody who is as popular and is
Mhm.
well known as Mykelti, and she says, "Yeah, but I can't come forward, and I don't feel comfortable sharing my story because I'm not in a safe place, and I don't feel like this is something I can do." What does that say to the victim who doesn't have the resources that Mykelti has?
Amen.
You
Yeah,
understand what I mean? So,
that's a really good point. Yeah, because I was thinking with great power comes great responsibility
right,
on the,
exactly, exactly.
yeah. So you can't be just coming out half-arsed or whatever. I wanna be careful. I don't wanna get you in trouble with what I say. But, I don't know. I have a hard time believing that she is not aware of what she's doing. She may not understand the full effect of it, to be fair, but she's been in the media long enough. Her whole, like, not her whole life, but a significant part of it, right?
Right.
So I don't know. And it hurt. Like, the thing that makes me the maddest about it is that it hurts actual victims and survivors, right?
Mhm.
I understand what everybody's saying by, there are fake allegations sometimes. Um, I just actually watched this it's a dramatization. It's called Under the Bridge, and it's about this case that happened in the '90s in British Columbia. And this girl, she was being bullied and stuff, and her family was Jehovah's Witnesses. And so anyway, she wanted out of this house and she wanted to live in the foster home that her friends were in. And I'm like, girl, you don't want to live in foster care. But anyway,
Right.
and in order to get into this foster care, she told one of the it's like a home for, like, it's not like an individual private home. It's like a home for a couple, teenagers or whatever. Anyway, she ended up alleging that her father beat her and SA'd her.
Mm.
And it makes me so incredibly mad every single time. And I know it happens, but I'm still like, listen, y'all can't be, I mean, you're doing it, not you. But people are doing it anyway, but it hurts people who are in an actual situation so
Right.
badly. And that's part of the reason why we're doubted so much. And when it actually has happened to you, it is the scariest, most humiliating thing to tell somebody. Even though that's not your embarrassment or shame, somebody did take your autonomy away from you.
Right.
And there's something very vulnerable and scary about sharing something, even though, what's that saying? I really like it. Not by my hand, but in my lap, right? So, like, I didn't do this, but I have to deal with it anyway, right? And that's sort of what these situations do to you. And, when you're told that I like this quote too, even though it's attributed to a very horrific human being, uh, Hitler. He allegedly said, if you say it long enough and loud enough, the people will believe it.
Right. Right.
And I like it because it is true, right? And so, I don't know, I could see this situation snowballing really fast because somebody's not gonna be paying full attention, and then more and more people will make videos about it, and before we know it, it is true in quotation marks, right?
Right.
So, I don't know, I don't wanna see anybody's life be ruined by a situation like this, and yeah, I yapped long enough. Thank you. I appreciate you.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Well, the one thing I will say about it too is just the reverse side of it. In the instance that you come out, you tell this story, everybody, and this is my concern,
Mhm,
and why because it is so vague and it's so early, and
mhm.
we don't have enough details.
No.
That if you come out and everybody jumps on it, like for instance, the Johnny Depp case,
Yes.
when Amber Heard made her accusations on Johnny Depp, he lost all kinds of opportunities. People
Yeah.
were turning their backs on this man. He
Mhm.
couldn't get phone calls back. All of a sudden, people who known him for like 30, 40 years weren't calling this man back. Best friends, he letting them stay at houses and shit, taking care of them. Now, all of a sudden, this accusation come out. He can't get a phone call back.
Yeah.
Then when it comes out during the trial, of course, of the defamation suit, that half of the shit she's saying, none of the shit she's saying is accurate, then
Mhm.
that's not just that Amber Heard is lying. That's the example that when I've
Yes.
heard Amber Heard's name and I've heard that case referenced more in uh sexist,
Mm.
misogynist manosphere spaces than I
Yeah.
have anywhere else.
Yes,
When they
I
talk
know, it makes me so mad because she came out with that story at, I'm pretty sure, the height of Me Too.
right, yeah, that's when she came out with it. Was during
Yes,
Me Too.
and
And
that
she was doing
really.
speeches for it.
Yes, yes, that's right. Wasn't she a representative
Yeah, she
for,
was
like,
an
that type of
ambassador or whatever.
situation?
Yeah, she was
Yes,
an ambassador. And
that's right.
And when they came out with that, like I said, when people started making accusations, even about cases that had nothing to do with Johnny Depp or her, and they come out and they have accusations, they cite her. They cite there was a baseball player or whatever where this woman had videotaped herself like laying next to this baseball player. And then when he didn't want to continue to date her, she came out and accused him of SA. But he was able to get the apparently he taped himself and he taped her, was able to get the tape of her sitting there like loving on him and kissing on him and stuff after he supposedly SA'd her. But those are the examples that they use. So it's not just that it's this we're gonna believe the victims, and if they get caught lying, that's just on them. It's not just on them because they're the examples that they use. Those are the mainstay examples. And like I said, you'll have 1,000 cases where it will be proven that this is true and this is what happened and these people need our support. But they'll use those 3 cases to undermine those 1,000 cases, to discourage those 1,000 witnesses to come forward.
Yes.
And that's where my concern is.
Yes. Well, that's why I'm so kind of obnoxious about this type of thing, because that's exactly what it is. I think statistically it's about 1% are false allegations, right?
Yeah. Something ridiculously low. Because nobody wants to believe that. I mean, the fact that you think that somebody's going to be like, part of my master plan is I'm going to humiliate myself by saying that this happened to me. Like, that's not a fucking plan. Nobody's doing that. For real, you're a crazy person if you do that. Like, there's something wrong with you. But that's what they're propagated to believe. That that there's these maniacal, evil ass women out there just willy-nilly accusing people of the most terrible crime. And even to your point of like the shame in it all, is that the part of the biggest problem, and this is why I think that, like I said, I could sit and talk to somebody who unalived somebody before I talk to somebody who SA'd somebody. Because at the end of the day, both crimes are terrible. Terrible. You're a horrible person for doing it. But when you do that to somebody, the latter, when you do that to somebody, you take everything from them. Like your basic ability to control what happens to your body.
Amen. Yes.
Taken from you.
Yeah, they take your autonomy. They take, and I mean, it's horrible no matter what age you are, but, and I don't say this to make anybody sad or to be like too much, but, my first memory, I was 3 and it was already happening. Like this idea of it taking your innocence. And I know it's kind of cliche, but it kind of does, because you cease being a child. You understand things about the world, or you think you do. Like, I didn't truly understand, but I had an understanding of the world that no 3-year-old should have, right? And it colored my perception of the opposite gender. It colored my perception of adults. It still colors my perception of various things. And like having children, it made me realize like how much, it's not that I'm running around crying all the time. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm pretty okay. Right. But I talk about it all the time because I want people to know how long-term the effects can actually be. There's this idea that you get over it one day. And while, like I said, I'm not running around weeping, I'm not shaking in my boots, I'm fine. Right. At the same time, that experience colors my perception of the world. I wear different color glasses, figuratively, than somebody who did not have that happen, right? They did really interesting brain science, MRI type things, and certain types of trauma actually affect the brain just as effectively as somebody being punched in the face all the time or playing football. Like, it rewires and actually injures the brain, which is really fascinating, right? Because you wouldn't think that damage that is not physical could actually cause brain damage, but it can.
Right.
And that's crazy, right? Yeah, so like these long-term effects in multiple ways, and then you have yahoos just wanting attention, or drumming up interest, and that seems to be what is happening, although I don't know for sure. So I'm not making any allegations. Nobody come after James.
Yeah, I didn't do it. Well, I would even add this though, because even to your point, like you had said that it can change how you view the world, the people
Mhm.
around you, the people that you interact with, your date. And I would even submit that it damages or alters or colors the way you see yourself.
Mhm.
And so there is a certain like because in order for you to come forward with this type of allegation or recognition that this thing happened to you, you have to like nobody wants to feel powerless.
No.
Nobody wants to feel like they were at the mercy or subjugated to somebody else's control. And
Mhm.
when you come forward and you make this assertion that this thing happened to you, there's a part of you that has to acknowledge that at one point in time, you had to submit control and power to yourself. It's the
Yep.
same, it's to a lesser degree. It's the same thing with if somebody breaks into your house. They broke into your home, they broke into your private space, they entered into somewhere where you consider to be safe. And now that
Sacred.
they
Yeah.
violated that boundary, you don't feel safe in your house anymore.
Right. They take that
Right.
safety and security, your sanctuary, away.
Exactly.
And
Exactly. It alters how
sometimes,
you see it now. Like you go home, you're not
yes,
like, I'm home. Thank goodness you at home. You're like, shit, I hope nobody's in the closet. You know?
right. Yes. I don't know if you've heard it, but there's so many stories of women, they'll go outside and before, like, they're getting in their car after work and they'll look in their back seats and stuff before they even get in their car because it's unhinged out here, um, in outside in
Mhm.
general. Um, One last thing before I go, sometimes it's the aftercare. I don't wanna say it's worse than the initial event, but it really colors how you perceive the world. I remember the first I told my mom because I just couldn't deal with it anymore, and I had waited to tell her because he had been telling me that he was going to end her if I said anything, right?
Mhm.
And I know, like, I mean, maybe, but realistically, probably not. But when you're a child, you believe what the adults tell you, right? And
Well, why wouldn't you believe he was doing something horrible to you? So why wouldn't you
yeah, so
believe
why wouldn't I,
it?
right? Exactly.
Yeah,
Thank you. Because
exactly.
sometimes I feel stupid that I believed him, but whatever.
Yeah.
Um, and
At
when
that
I
point, he's
told
capable
her,
of anything. You don't know. You know,
right?
you don't
Yes,
know.
because you're a kid.
Right.
You literally only know what the adults tell you, right? So when I went to report, she screamed at me, called me a liar. She slapped me across the face. And I brought my hand up. I have a scar on my hand from the day she hit me. She had these nails, right?
Hmm.
And while I can understand that somebody might be in shock, they don't want to believe it. That's kind of a lot of a reaction. So I can see if if what we think Mykelti might have been hinting toward happened and she went to report, I could see very easily that it wasn't handled very well, and it can make, um, trying to report to somebody else way, way, way more difficult, right? Like, I didn't ever report again after that event. My cousin ended up seeing bruising on me, and I was like, "You better not say anything." And they're like, "Did he hit you?" And I was like, "No, I fell down the stairs," which is silly. So if anybody tells you that, just keep eyeing them because they might be lying to you. Um, so I don't know, like sometimes the aftercare is worse than the initial event, not worse. The way I see it is the man that did what he did not owe me anything, but the social workers, the doctors, the aftercare people, they did owe me something. Um, So, anyway, I know that was a lot. Thank you for listening. Um, those are just yeah, I don't know. I Mykelti, I have feelings.
Right. Spidey sense is going on. I got you. I got you.
Yes, I don't like it.
Yeah. But that's fair. You're entitled. Everybody's
Yeah,
entitled to opinion. But thank you for calling in. I appreciate you.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'm going to go back to the chat.
All right. Thank you. All right. We had that was local art switch, law in the house, bringing the law. Yeah. Oh, let me drop this. Hold on 1 second. Oh, this is Duggar's lost his show with all that came up. So maybe Sister Wives will end up being canceled. I don't know. Because they also ran that damn I'm about to call it Tutti Frutti. What's that? Mama June. You know, I thought for sure that show, I never watched that show. But I thought for sure, like when that information came out, they definitely was going to cancel that. But that bad boy still rocking. So that's why I don't trust their judgment. But we got Megatron in the house. Megatron, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
I am here. I am listening and I'm laughing and I'm just so over these people. I'm just so over them, James. I'm sick of, I'm honestly sick of hearing about them. I'm sick of talking about them. It's just one of those situations like Jody and Local. Like I feel like I'm their protector now. And it's like, it pisses me off when I hear people taking advantage of them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of like, I get what they're saying. I understand that they're very sensitive. They're very, very kind to a fault, you know? And I'm just one of those people. I just don't believe shit nobody tell me unless you got some receipts. I'm just not gonna blindly believe anything that you say. You could be saying, yeah, my car broke down. Okay.
How did you get here again? Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna have questions. I'm gonna question everything, but that's just me. I don't. It could be something simple as you could say, "Well, girl, I don't have all my utility money. Can I, loan me $20?" No. I have questions. Why don't you have all the money? Oh, well, my car broke down. Oh, okay. Well, where did you buy the part from? How much was the part? Oh, well, I paid $300. Well, online it says that part ain't but $45. So you know what I'm saying? I question. I'm just a firm believer in finding out for sure before I jump on something because I've been burned a few times. Throwing my whole support behind somebody and then they turn out to be lying. It's like, you know what? Okay,
Yeah.
Now I question. And in the Mykelti situation, not saying that it didn't happen, not saying that it's not true, but you're going to have to come with a little bit more than that if you want my dollars, my support. You know what I'm saying? Like I just can't get behind any and every old thing. And that's all we were saying, to Jody. I know Jody's kind of like feeling ganged up on, but it's not that, Jody. We're not saying it is not true and it didn't happen. We're just saying that we need a little bit more to base our opinion on. Just don't go blindly believing any and every old thing.
Right.
Because that, like you said, James, that'll get your ass in the tub of hot water, and then you looking at them to help, and they're gonna turn their damn back on you, just like the Bernie Mac story about his brother.
My brother.
Yeah.
I said, "Being my brother gonna take care of his kids." That some bitch got up and walked out.
Yeah, and see, that's all we're saying to like our sensitive viewers. Don't blindly believe somebody and don't get yourself in some stuff blindly believing somebody, said person, because and it's just like, I don't know, James, if you watch this show on it's on True TV. It's called World's Dumbest Criminals.
I've seen it before.
You've seen it? Okay. And it was one situation where these two cousins decided they was going to rob this store. And one cousin is at the door being the lookout, and the one with the gun goes behind the counter with these two Arab guys. Man, they got him behind that counter and beat the dog soup out of him. I'm talking about beat the brake shoes off of him, James. And all he could yell the whole time was, "Help me, cuz! Help me, cuz!" And his cousin looked at him getting me mocked and took the hell off and left him in there by himself.
He ain't getting mauled. Cuz
I'm
help.
talking about you can hear the wind from. I think it was a rifle. It was it was a shotgun of some sort. Because they ended up taking the gun from the robber and beat. I'm talking. You can hear the woof woof, and them licks was sounding like Jesus. Oh my gosh! And all he could holler, "Help me, cuz! Help me, cuz!" Cuz looked at his cousin getting his ass tore up behind that register and took off and left him by himself.
He said, I don't want no parts of that.
He
Whatever they
said,
do,
"Well,
I don't
somebody
want
got to live to tell the story."
right.
And he took off, but that's what I'm saying. People will do. People will do that to you.
Yeah.
So don't be following blindly. That's all I'm saying. Don't be believing things blindly and getting yourself in situations where you getting beat up back there by yourself, and the cuz that was with you done left you.
Yeah, even worse, it'd be their idea to go in there and do the shit in the first place.
And basically you know how they do they kind of follow up on the story. It was the cousin that ran's idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
And see what I'm saying? It's like,
That tracks.
you know, and then, you know, with the whole, I just feel like it's so many parts to this that it's like, whatever, man. I
Well,
don't have the energy.
Yeah, because I think that's an excellent point too. Because you will be the vanguard of truth and justice. Yo, what? Somebody jumped my friend? Oh, we gonna go down there and regulate this shit. We going down there and handle it.
Right.
Go down there and you get down there whooping on people and stuff. The cops get called, and then you there trying to explain to the police like, yeah, this, that, and the other happened, and you find out none of that story you got told was true.
Right. So you down there whooping up on people.
Right, you throwing people over cars and through windows, and then like all of a sudden, you the maniac, you know? You just showed up out of nowhere, just started talking to people like candle, you know, like coins and shit in the pond, and then next thing you know, he talking crazy like we done did something, but I don't know what's going on. You know, and that shit does happen. And
it does, James. That has happened to me. Like, come on now. Again, I know Saturday you got knocked off, but we were discussing like I have become the bully to the bullies. You know, I was the one in school where if I saw you bullying somebody, or you got your ass whooped, and I had 104 first cousins. So don't ask me to call my cousins because it's a lot of us. All of us went to the same high school. So yeah. If I saw you bullying somebody, oh yeah, one phone call. I call one cousin, you know, that one cousin that tell everybody business. Yeah, girl, so and so was bullying such and such. Yeah, we're gonna get her tomorrow. Say less. Everybody come to school ready tomorrow. But I have just always been the person to like, if I see somebody like Local or Jody, if I was friends with them in real time, it's like, why are you letting these people take advantage of you? Like, come on, we finna go have a conversation. Okay, this is my friend Local. This is my friend Jody. Like, what's your issue with them? Like, I'm that person. Like, and one thing I know you guys have heard me say it on the show, like when I was pissed off at Janelle, because I was riding for you. I was rooting for you. I was monetarily supporting you and your business. And then you done turned around and you done backdoored Mary.
Right.
You cannot make a fool out of me after I done rolled for you and done talk junk on your behalf. And I done basically, you know, she's opening up a forum here locally. Y'all support her. Y'all make her feel welcome. Then you do this dumb shit here. Now I feel like a fool. So yes, I take that very personally when you make me look like a fool or make me look like a liar.
Right. Well, especially too, because there's that point where, because now if I'm backing you, and this is where, you know, it reminds me of like The Wire. I don't know if you ever saw The Wire.
I love The Wire. I have the DVDs.
Okay, yeah, that was my shit back in the day.
I love The Wire.
You remember when Marlo was in jail and they found out like dude was talking shit about him? He's like, that's my name.
Right.
My name get kicked around the street. And that's kind of where it is that if I'm defending you or I'm backing you, it's not just you. I'm putting my name, my reputation,
my reputation on the line.
And then if I find out that the shit ain't true, now all of a sudden I'm looking stupid as hell.
You look like the liar. Yeah.
Right. And the crazy part is they might not even know the person who I'm talking on behalf of, but they know me.
That part.
You know what I mean?
That part.
And so now all of a sudden it's like, yeah, man, this is what? That's your friend? Like, oh, hold up now.
Yeah. Because yeah. Because if stuff goes south, they're not gonna be calling that person talking. They're gonna call you, James.
Right.
Well, James, you told me to go buy this car from Megatron, and this is a limit. This shit don't work. I need my money back. See, now they on your ass. It's like, ho. I know her, but I don't know her like that. Well, you didn't tell me that. You act like you really rock with her. Somebody gonna have to give me my money back. You see what I'm saying? Now you and that person is beefing. So that's all we were saying, though. Like, you just be careful of who you throw your support behind publicly, and be careful what you're throwing your support behind, because like you were saying with the Amber Heard stuff, like Johnny Depp lost a lot of millions of dollars. You caused me to lose $50 and we got a problem. You caused me to lose 50 plus million. Oh yeah, that's definitely not gonna happen.
Yeah, you might get dealt with.
You understand what I'm saying? People have been put in the dirt for less.
Right.
And you around here messing with people's livelihood, and that's, it's sad to say it, but that's family business, and they need to figure it out, because you don't really know all the parts. You don't really know what's going on, and we didn't get enough details. I personally don't have enough details to say, yeah, I believe her. No, I don't believe her. But just I'm with you, James. Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't get yourself in the tizzy. Don't let your mental health struggle because this girl is saying things that she's not clarifying. She's not making it clear. She's just saying shit to see what's gonna get her the most attention at this point.
Right.
And that's just where I'm at with Miss Thing. That's what I call her, Miss Thing.
Yeah, I just feel like we don't. Again, like I feel like we're in a position where we just don't have enough information, because even though there was an implication, and even though she said that something happened, she didn't come out and say what happened.
Yeah.
And I can't stress this enough. When it comes to this accusation, it's left up to the interpretation is left up to the person who's hearing it. And there's such a big spectrum on what essay could be considered.
Yeah.
And so I just don't feel comfortable saying that, she went over next door and this person gripped her, grabbed her, groped her.
Right.
It could have been something, like I said, catch a girl, freak a girl, catch a girl, hug a girl, catch a girl, kiss a girl, them little kid games that,
Yeah, we call it hide and go get.
Right, hide and go get, spin the bottle. That shit is all sexual harassment. That's all sexual harassment.
I was like, blew my whole childhood in a whole different direction. Cause I'm like, that's not, and okay, so the teddy bear advocacy, I don't know if you've heard of it, but it's kind of like a training that all educators have to go through. And it teaches you to recognize SA. It teaches you how to know the signs of SA, and it also teaches you how to prevent any the example that she used was actually one from teddy bear advocacy training, where like, oh, my dad ate my cookie. Teaching your children the correct body part names is part of the training. Because of that, the little cute little nicknames, it's not clear when they call it anything but what it really is. And so, yeah, so it's like when she made that analogy, and I was like, oh, she had teddy bear training. She had the teddy bear advocacy training, because that is one of the things that they teach you, and one of the signs of recognizing and understanding and preventing SA. So I was like, did she do this training for work and then all of a sudden came? I don't know. But it's just really interesting. This whole thing is about to be, I have my popcorn ready. I got my Pepsi Cola in the refrigerator, and I'm just ready for it to play out.
Yeah.
Because it's wild. And then I heard, and then Saturday we were talking. Apparently Christine is in North Carolina.
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, she's doing damage control now.
Yeah, like I said, it's
Only doing damage control.
We in there telling me, look, you got to shut up, because I'm in trouble because I told you to shut up. Like, what the shit? Like, you can't stop getting yourself in trouble. Like, what are you doing?
And it is crazy that nobody has said anything. No, none of the family has come out. I would, at the very least, Christine would have came out and said something. She has not said anything. And I think all of the other kids that normally would have said something, like Peyton and Gwen and Maddie, I think they've all been silenced so bad to the point where they can't say anything.
Right.
At this point. So I don't know. I'm just, again, you asking for people's subscription money, you asking for support, you asking for all of this stuff, but you're not giving up. You got to give to receive. So you want something from me? You gotta do something for, what's the old? You gotta do something for me. You scratch my back, I scratch your back. That's how they used to say it.
Yeah.
You can't ask me for my support and my money and my viewership if you ain't giving us nothing. You know, so that's just where I'm at with these people. I can't do them no more, James. I'm telling you, I hear about it secondhand. It won't be directly. If I hear about it, it'll be on this channel. Because I'm not paying that money for another subscription. For them, like you said, to sit up there and Cody and David be riding cars and knowing they hate each other.
Yeah, right.
Like, it's not even, at this point, bro, this is not even genuine. At least with, like, the housewives and stuff, like, they make it somewhat look like they care about each other.
It's a possibility that this guy.
You know?
Yeah.
This is outright, this is a money grab. David got paid to sit down and have this conversation with this man. You could tell he don't want to be there. You could tell Cody don't want to be there. Christine was just all over the place. It took her pink. But at the end of the day, y'all are all been paid just to sit here.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like you've been paid to sit here. That's how I look when I have my trainers that I don't want to be at, but I have to do it.
Right. Well, as long as you don't get to the train, they talking about, yeah, guys, we went over the budget, and as it turns out, this is gonna be on y'all. We ain't gonna pay you for this. So let me get my shit together. And y'all
put that one little finger up like in church, James. You gotta put your little finger up like in church.
Like, well, I'm gonna need some reimburse on my gas money plus some
something. You got no Amazon gift cards or nothing?
Right.
Something. I need a gift card, $25, gas card, something, anything.
Especially as much as gas costs now. You don't get me out.
That's what I'm saying.
Shit.
Y'all want us to keep subscribing for this crap. You got people who legit cannot pay for basic needs in the house, food, utilities. You know, you got all these things happening, and I'm supposed to sacrifice so I can subscribe for you to sit here and tell us nothing. To me, I'm like my dad. It's preposterous. It's just preposterous that you think I'm supposed to pay for this subscription for you to just sit there and do nothing.
Mm.
No. And then you don't never see them giving back. Like, when do any of them, the OGs, Cody, Robin, nobody. I have never once seen anything where they have a charity for anybody. Now, Mary did a charity ride for her homegirl, but she didn't put the money up. She was asking her fan base to put the money up. Now, you sitting up here, you don't let this man gank you out of millions of dollars and you want me to donate $1,000. You crazy. Why don't you give best friend Jen the money she needs?
Right. We know you got it.
Well, you got it, because obviously Cody and Robin took it from you, so you had it at some point.
Right. All right.
But I don't know, James. Like I said, I just wanted to call in and just say, yeah, Miss Mykelti, I feel bad, but at the same time, I don't. I'm not gonna blindly believe her. I'm not gonna say she's lying. I'm gonna just sit here and watch and see what comes of it. You know, I'm not taking a side either way. I'm just listening.
And I look, I wish I could criticize you for that, but I can't. Because I think that the smartest thing that we can do as a fan base, and I said this, like I said this about the Jesse Smollett stuff. Sometimes the best way you can show somebody support is to give them room to be able to do what they need to do, say what they need to say,
Right.
how they need to say it. That's the
All right.
best way you can give them support. It's not you stepping in front of them. It's you just actually stepping aside and letting them do what they feel like they need to
Yeah.
do.
Definitely. That's all. And that's all we're saying, Jody and Local. We love y'all. We thank y'all for your input because y'all have really educated me on a lot of things that I didn't understand was happening in this world around us. But at the same time, as your protector, I've ordained myself as your protector. Just don't open yourself up to be taken advantage of. And that's what the point we were getting at Saturday that you missed. It's okay to be kind. It's okay to be sensitive. It's okay to be, I've been called an asshole by so many people that it doesn't even bother me at this point. I will continue to be the asshole if I have to question your intent, if I have to question who sent you and why are you here.
Right.
You understand? Like I'm just not about to allow you to A, make a fool out of me, B, make a liar out of me, or C, take anything from me. You understand? Like you really, really gonna have to get up. You can't even get up early or late at night to get one over on me. Cause I'm gonna question. I need to understand it before I even support it, donate to it, or give to the cause.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's all we were saying. Just don't. And this is for everybody, all the viewers, everybody listening. It's okay to question things. It's okay not to be sure about things. That doesn't make you an asshole, doesn't make you a bad person. It just makes you a person who needs to understand something fully.
Right.
And
again, I think it also has to be stressed because this is my whole thing. It's like, because I recognize that I don't want to put my name behind something that I don't necessarily support or is going to make me look foolish or damage my credibility. But at the same time, looking beyond myself and saying in a bigger way, I don't want to put a throw support behind something that will ultimately lead to the damage of another person. I don't want to support something that's going to take away from actual victims when they're victims or survivors, when they're trying to tell their stories and they feel like they can't because either somebody got caught lying or they were being deceptive. They're giving a message that they shouldn't be taken seriously, that it's not safe for them to come forward. I don't want to be a part of the problem. I always want to try to figure out how I can be part of the solution and help people, because it does take a lot of courage. And I'm not diminishing that at all. If this is something that happened to her, it requires a tremendous amount of courage for you to come out and say that this thing happened to you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to diminish that at all. But at the same time, I want to protect and stand in front of people who may need that support too. Because it's not just about Mykelti. This is about other people who don't, like, even to Local Artswitch point, people who don't have the platform or the support that Mykelti has. There are people out there who are by themselves and who legitly, because the way, and this is my prejudice. This is my prejudice, because when I first heard about it, I categorized the way it was described to me, that this thing happened. She came back and told Christine, and out of inconvenience, Christine told her not to tattle, or the parents don't tattle. At that point, I put those parents in the same category. I would put a parent who knows that their boyfriend is going down the hall to lay up with their daughter, and they don't get their ass up out of bed. They don't stir, they don't move. And if the daughter ever comes back and tells them this is what this man is doing, they get mad at him and treat him like they competition. And y'all, you need to stop dressing and trying to persuade him. And I see the way you walking around the house trying to entice my man and take my man. I put them in that same category.
Yep.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, and then I had to take a step back, but like, is this what she's actually saying? And if
Yeah,
look at what she said, that's not what she said.
that's not what she said.
Right. But I'm using
She was using that as a terrible. And I think the night that dropped, we were on live, and I was in the chat like, "No, I watched it. Now I was drinking, but I think this is what she was saying. That no, she was using that as a bad example. That's
Right.
not what she's saying, because anybody who lived next door to them during that time is clutching their pearls and calling their attorneys all at the same time. Because hold on, which neighbor you talking about? You had three
Right.
neighbors at that time.
Right.
And I can see, like you were saying, opening herself up to litigation because, well, I was her neighbor from the time that they was 7 until the time she was 10 years old. And, you know, she used to play with my kids or my grandkids, and she's throwing these accusations out there. Now his job, you know, he being that they're in the public eye, I can about believe, oh man, you know, the sister wives, yeah, we were neighbors with them and dot, 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 dot. Then now she dropped this bomb, and then the same employer's looking at him like, well, you said you were her neighbor. Was it you that touched her? Now you got him in his, you know, law firm, and this is all me just making up stuff. But, you know, the said neighbor could possibly be at a law firm or wherever, and now people are side-eyeing him like, yeah, he coming here every day talking about how them people was his neighbors, and now she's accusing the neighbor of groping her. And I can see that being an issue.
Mm.
So again, Mykelti's big enough to know what she's doing. Mykelti's, if she don't know something, it's no excuse in this day and time for you to say, well, I don't understand it, I don't know, because every damn body in this world got a Google that they can access and get some information. Was it ChatGPT, whatever it is now? All of that stuff. So if you don't understand the ramifications of what you're doing, how about you do your research before you do it?
Right.
So it's really no excuse of, well, I didn't understand what the ramifications of me saying that. Yes, you do. You can Google.
And this kind of shit, like I said, this could sink your battleship, dude.
Exactly.
This could sink your battleship because, you know, because it like these kind of stories, they have a way of taking on a life of their own, and they get too far ahead. You can't stop it from. I just look. It's just one of those things where I just don't feel comfortable. I don't feel comfortable with it either way because
Yeah.
you know, I don't know enough. And I'm just being honest. Like I just don't know enough about this situation for me to be able to assess. I can't assess. Honestly, I can't even assess what she's actually saying.
Okay. I said she's not clear to me. I don't know
Right.
about, maybe I'm slow in the brain. Maybe I'm just fatigued and overloaded from school year. But it wasn't clear to me what she was saying. I still, as I'm speaking, she didn't make anything clear to me. It was not clear to me. Because I heard she was using that neighbor bit as an example of the tattletelling and stuff. Well, I would have rather them tell me ... versus a neighbor touching. And like I said, I was drinking. I thought maybe that was an example, a terrible example that she had used, not that it happened to her.
Mm-hmm.
Because people were running with it and saying that was what she said happened to her.
Right. Right.
And I was like, well, that's not that's not what I heard. But I was, you know, had a little sippy sip or 2 or 3. But yeah, like it's dangerous.
Because I watched the interview after the fact, and it is both. Like, because she said, like, she used that as a horrible example. And in my mind, I'm like, if something like that happened, that's not an example. That is the story. Like that, you know,
Right.
like I'm telling you a story. But she did use it as an example because before that, she used a hypothesis example by saying, if Logan was climbing a 10-foot tree and he was about to fall and I went and told my parents, I would get in trouble for tattletaling. Like if I had a neighbor and they did this to me, then I would get in trouble for tattletaling. And then she later said something did happen, but I'm not ready to talk about it.
Okay. See, that's what I got from it.
Yeah. So at that point, it's like, did something happen with a neighbor? and you're not ready to talk about it, or is it something separate that happened and you're not ready to talk about it?
Right.
Is it something that you just felt uncomfortable? Because again, that could also be sexual assault because it's such a broad spectrum where somebody says something that makes you feel uncomfortable, or they do something that makes you feel uncomfortable, but it's not necessarily what the normal person would assume that type of assault would be.
Right.
I mean, because when I hear it, I'm thinking something far more aggressive.
Right.
I'm not thinking like, okay, yeah,
That's more along the lines of harassment. Like work,
right.
you have workplace harassment, and you have workplace SA and all of the things, and that's another training. And so maybe they should start mandating these trainings in all platforms, like in school, for a job, not just for certain jobs, but all jobs should have this training. I know they have a variation of like workplace harassment and things that you can and can't say and all of that, but maybe we need to call the Congress, and because I went and voted today, by the way. I don't know if the elections are going on in y'all's areas or not, but our election was today. But yeah, like, how can we change this narrative? Because, like you said, James, my version of SA is totally different from yours.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you were saying, like with the pat on the butt. I'm a sports mom. My kids play sports. I have seen times where, like, a coach, like, they're in the huddle or whatever, and he's smack my son on the butt, like, go get him or whatever. To me, that's not SA.
Right.
That's just okay because I'm in that world. But again, I have a sister who's not in that world.
But at the same time, I bet you can see that there are parents who will be like, "Whoa, call the cops! This dude is trying to."
Yes, that's what my sister's like that. My sister's that way because she went to a tournament we had in North Carolina. We had moved up here by that point, and the coach actually did that, and she went to stand. Oh, he touching him. I'm like, girl, relax. It is okay. Like, it's okay. It's not. But that's he shouldn't do that. He's touching, and I'm like, it's okay. Like, she just couldn't understand why I was allowing it, and I'm like, trust me, he's not assaulting him. That is just a part of their norm. Okay. Now the question to my son was, now does he do that when you're like, y'all are by yourself in the locker rooms or y'all naked? He's like, no.
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay. But I mean, I did follow up and I did ask questions, but again, different people, different things. So
yeah, I mean, you want to know, like, if I'm sitting there saying like, all right, well, if you guys just hanging out chilling, or you walking through the hallways and every time he see you, pat you, like, what's
right
about that? But game stuff, like, and again, it just depends on like your comfortability and where you are. And I just want to make sure that before I get to a point where I'm accusing somebody of something, especially as horrific as this, that I want to be very clear. I just want there to be clarity as far as what it is we're saying and what it is we plan on doing about it.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Yeah, I agree 100% with that, James. And like I said, I'm gonna get all my news and whatever through you guys because I'm not paying to get the TLC package on the streaming network. I'm just not doing it. So anything I hear about these people gonna be through third party.
Yeah. I'm kind of in that boat too. Like, the only reason I have it is because of my brother, but I have access to some of the TLC stuff. But other than that, like you said, I got rid of my my little subscription. That's why I can't do the Sunday night recap show. I won't be able to do that this year because I'm not paying for it. I can't.
I'm not. It's just they're not giving us enough meat for this meal.
Right. Yeah, this is all.
And I can't sacrifice get my nails done every 2 weeks. I'm just not. I'm not willing to do that, James. I'm just not. I'm not willing to sacrifice, my Taco Tuesday.
Like, all of a sudden, I'm missing stuff. Like, that's crazy. Yeah.
It did, like you said, for to sit here and to watch y'all talk about stuff that happened 15 years ago. I'm just not doing it.
Yeah, right.
If that's all you got to talk about, I can always go back and watch that. I'm not about to sacrifice my tacos or my nails to see y'all do nothing.
It's like, I'll be out here looking raggedy. And then I get to watch you on TV looking
Fabulous.
fantastic. Yeah. You know what
Taking trips.
Looking Gone with the Wind fabulous, spinning around like, you know what I mean? I'm sitting up here looking like
You taking
Joe.
fancy vacays and I'm sitting up here. No. Mm-mm.
I'm looking like Hobo Joe sitting
And
out
it desensitizes us, as a fan base. We're desensitized to, again, not to keep harping on it, but it's kind of like, to me, James, like, okay, you have a person that commits this heinous crime, right? And the person is very sane. Ain't nothing wrong with them. They just did the shit because they felt like doing it. Now they're in trouble. Now they're gonna say, "Well, I've had all these mental health problems, and I'm I'm autistic, and I have a child that's autistic." So it pisses me off to the point of no return to see a lot of neurotypical people line to get a diagnosis so they can get what they call quote unquote perks, but not realizing they're taking away from the actual people that need these services. Like a lot of the services now, I don't know how much you understand about like the special ed services for like in the education is very limited.
Right.
And now you have all of these kids with these quote unquote diagnoses, and ain't nothing wrong with them. They only have the diagnosis so they can get the extended testing times, so they can get the materials and things of that nature. But then you have actual people, children, students who are special needs students that are on wait lists for said devices or, or said services. And it pisses me off. So It's like you're taking away from people who really, really do need that service. So that's why, these accusations got to be careful.
Yeah, especially now, too, because they've actually started cutting a lot of those programs because of budgetary limitations.
Exactly.
And it was already like, and if we want to keep it all the way a buck, it's not like those programs were 100% funded
anyway. Exactly. So you're taking small money, making it smaller. And so now you have, I know we're on the wait list for like OT. I know my son does private speech through my insurance, but we've been on a occupational therapist wait list, James, for 3.5. This December will be 4 years. Because they just don't have enough coverage, right? And then you go in there because his OT and his speech is in the same building. You go in there and you see people getting OT services. And James, when I tell you, Lord forgive me, but ain't a damn thing wrong with them children other than the parents just won't. They're only doing it so they can get a Social Security check. And then I look and I say, that's a damn shame. We've been on this wait list for almost 4 years. My son really do need that service. But we've been on a wait list for almost this December will be 4 whole years. And then you have this child, ain't nothing wrong with him. I've seen the same said child playing basketball with the travel team, doing everything he's supposed to do. And it's just like, he don't need the service. You have taken this spot from somebody who really needs it. Right. So, I know I come off as a little asshole, but I'll be the asshole if it means not being taken advantage of. Call me an asshole every day of my life, and then that'll be fine. You still ain't gonna get one over on me neither.
No, I got you.
But yeah, that's it. That's all. I just wanted to ramble a little bit. I know we got cut off Saturday, and we was concerned. We was gassed up. I was like, I might got to ride. My son told my ride where we might have to ride because if I don't hear from James, I'm giving him to Wednesday. If we don't hear from him, we're gonna have to go right because I know it's a lot of I don't know how close you are to the FIFA Cup. I know they had one in Philly. They're hosting in Philly. Somewhere up that way. So we have a lot of influx here. Like a lot of them are coming to see the White House and carry on. So it's been real busy down here. So I was like, well, I think maybe that might have been a problem too, because we had some outages too here over the weekend.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't even think about that, but you might be right.
Yeah, like a lot of the FIFA Cup spectators are logging into our networks, and it's
Yeah.
overloading the grids. So that's what I was like. Let me just make sure James is good, and so you good, I'm good. I was like, I ain't seen no flare come up, so he ain't called for help yet.
All right. They on me, yo. Like, send everybody. Like,
Oh, we coming. I'm driving. We coming. We coming. I'm picking everybody up.
gotta make me shoot a flare up and shit.
I said we need to get James on my take on reality flare. It's gonna be bright purple.
Yeah, right. Like, it's going down. It's going down. You know.
Yes, sir. But yeah, that's it, James. I just wanted to rant a little bit and let you know you're doing a wonderful job. We love your take. It is very, very. Your take actually really calms down the rage in a lot of us a lot of times because me and Karma, we be ready to go the hell off. But your take really, you know what? Okay, let me just stop, think about it, listen. Oh, okay, now I see.
Yeah, don't go to
And
jail
so
for these folks.
yeah,
Ain't putting nobody on the books.
James, the voice of reason, continue to do you, and we thank you for this community that you have given us. It is wonderful. We love each other. Thank you guys, Jody, Betty, Lizzie B, everybody, just everybody. We had a good time Saturday after you left. Like we had a whole good time.
Oh, okay, awesome.
We almost
I
felt
thought the whole
guilty.
thing-
We almost felt guilty, but
See, I thought the
the show
stream
must
got
go on.
canceled. I'm glad it kept going because I thought the whole stream got canceled. I was like, son of a bitch.
No, we was on for about an hour, maybe 2 hours after you dropped.
Oh, okay, awesome.
And Karma was because I think Linda got kicked off. Like it slowly kicked everybody off except for Carmel. And so she was the host for a good little while by herself, and then she started feeling a little guilty. So she ended up coming back to the chat, and we chatted in the chat, and we was like, all right, well, hopefully James, I ain't seen no flare, so hopefully he all right.
help, Cody got me, you know.
That's what I said. Oh, they done rolled up on my boy. We got to go. We got to give assistance.
The Brown clan is here. They tired of my shit. They say you talk too much.
I said, but you know what though? That is so crazy. I said, because I'm actually the start before you get to James, so you would have think they'd have came after my black ass first. But no, I said they got James.
Yeah, right. We get up first. That way he can't send out the message.
That part. He can't send out the what is that Morse code. Morse code. He can't send out the Morse code. But yeah, I'm glad you got it fixed, and tell them to give you a credit. You lost money for 3 days, well, a week.
Oh yeah, I was reading them the riot act. Like you don't even understand. You don't even understand. Like I'm sure them people are still talking about my ass over there.
They normally now, when I was with Xfinity, I was having that issue as well. They would give me like $15, $16 credit off my bill every month. But hey, $15, $16 in this day and age is a lot.
Right. Especially in because the business model, that's what I was ranting about when I first got on. Especially in a business model where they're at the point now with companies and corporations where they're so used to just treating you like shit, they don't plan on giving you nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, just as a general practice, they don't you know how much fighting you got to do to just get basic shit that you normally back in the day you would have called them like, look, I just got screwed over. Oh, well, let's try to make things right for you.
Mm-hmm.
You have to talk to maybe one guy, maybe two guys, maybe the supervisor or whatever.
Right.
Now you got to run that shit all the way up to damn,
to the corporate.
Right. And cussing folks out the whole time. Like, this is crazy.
See, I know that's right, James. You know what I tell them? I'm off for the summer. I got nothing but time. What we doing?
Time. I got emails. I'm gonna call everybody I know. I'm gonna tell them about your ass.
Yeah, like and back then you could say, you know what? I'm just gonna get another provider. Oh no! We're gonna give you 3 months free. We're gonna give you HBO for free, and we're gonna give you Showtime for free. Oh, okay, now that's more like it.
Right.
But yeah, I'm with you.
But now they like, okay, what you gonna do? Go to the competition? And I know for a fact they're gonna do the same shit to you that we just did.
That is insane. That's insane. I hate that. I'm so sorry. But yeah, T-Mobile, I ended up leaving Xfinity. It's been 4 years now. I've been with T-Mobile home internets because I canceled all the cable. Like there's no point in cable.
Yeah, you and me both.
Because I had the cable, internet, and phone bundle.
Mm.
With Xfinity. And I was started out paying $250, then it went up, by the time I canceled everything, it was up to $425, I think it was. And so I just canceled because and the crazy thing is, even with that package, I was still paying for Netflix, Hulu, I was paying in addition to.
Right.
So it's like I might as well just keep my streaming services and get rid of that package. So I've been with T-Mobile home internet. I have two because when my son went off to college, I got him a box. So I have 2 internet boxes, 4 phone lines, my watch, and my son's tablet. And I pay right at $400 a month for all of that.
Right.
And that's through T-Mobile. So we're not getting sponsorship, just saying, y'all.
I heard that trying to get the hookup, but look. And at the time, like I said, with the cable stuff, part of the reason why I cut the cable is because like I had problems with who was it? Comcast.
Yeah, that's who Xfinity's with, Comcast. Yep.
Yeah. And then I turned around, and when we first moved to because I own one house and we bought another house and we were selling another house, but I had 2 houses at the time, and I was like, well, I want to, because I was in the process of selling my other house, and I was like, well, I want to be able to go to the new house and watch TV. I'll just pay for cable in both places. Impossible. There's no way we can do that, Mr. So-and-so. We can't do that. It's ridiculous that you would even ask. I said, okay, cool. Then just leave it where it is. When we move over, I'll just transfer everything.
Right.
These sons of bitches, don't you know, it was like 3-4 months later, I started getting letters talking about I owe money for the old house because I had cable in 2 places. I was like, when I was trying to do the shit, you
told me I couldn't do it.
Right. And now y'all sitting up here trying to charge it. I'm not paying this, first of all. Second of all, you know what I mean? I was like, and I sat down and I really started thinking about it. I was like, you know what? I don't even watch TV like this. What am I paying all this money for? I don't even watch your shows. Because like you said, like you doing the streaming stuff, or I have work and shit that I got to do. I'm not even sitting there watching TV. I'm paying for a box that I can't even sit and enjoy.
Yep.
So no, I'm good. Like y'all.
Yeah, that's a show enough help me cuz moment. Help me cuz. They over here knocking us in the head, and for what?
Right. Help me cuz.
Help me cuz. You're gonna have to find that voice clip and start playing it. But it's on World's Dumbest Criminals, and it's Help Me Cuz. Because what's the child actor? Danny Bonaducci.
Yeah.
All of them, like he's in the clip. It's hilarious. I'm gonna find it and put it on the Facebook page. It is hilarious though.
Help me, cuz.
But you're gonna have to get that voice clip. Help me, cuz. Help me.
He ain't coming back. You can stop calling. He ain't coming. You know.
And it what made it so bad, James. You know how when you walk into a convenience store, they got the little bells at the top and tingling. All you hear, he helped me, cuz, and then you hear these little bells tingling, and then the music go womp womp womp. Cuz is gone. Cuz has left you in there to be mauled to death by these 2. I don't know what their nationality was, but they weren't American. I tell you that. And they beat the soup off of homeboy, and all he could say is "Help me, cuz." And cuz had that face mask on, looking like shit. Clay Davis, shit.
I don't want no parts of whatever they serving up over that way.
But yeah, it's definitely helped me, cuz. And with the Browns, it's definitely helped me, cuz. Help me, cuz. Cuz these people crazy. But y'all, I'm about to go back to the chat and give you a chance to do your thing.
All right. Well, thank you so much for calling in. I appreciate you.
No worries, and I will see y'all. I'm gonna try to leave some speak pipes.
All right, cool, excellent.
All righty, I'm going back to the chat.
All
right.
Yeah, thanks so much to make a try and call in. Yeah. I just don't get yourself. All I'm saying is, like, the whole message for tonight was, like I said, people are going to feel how they feel about it. They're going to believe what they're going to believe. But at the end of the day, I just want to make sure that we're keeping a sober attitude towards a lot of this stuff, and we're not compromising ourselves and our finances for somebody else, defending somebody else who, frankly, one, wouldn't do it for you, and two, don't put yourself in a situation where you get caught up. That's all, help me, cuz. But yeah. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Before we go, I want to make sure we get some hearts in the chat. Of course, we're gonna have special hearts in the chat for Megatron. Hopefully everything turns out well for her as she's moving forward. Hopefully we get some good news. I saw Susie Q is here. I don't know if she wanted to share anything with us, but definitely want to keep her in mind. Susie Q, TLC's, Kitty, Negla 3, Brittany Not Brittany, Jody Periscala, Carmel Cuties, Miss Betty, Kathy Ferran, Allison Gaines, Marlo Peterson, and team Ty, Lit Mom, and just anybody. Again, I want to make sure we, in as a cue from Carmel Cuties, we keep in mind our strong friends, making sure we check on those people who take care of us. As mentioned earlier, we want to make sure that we give people flowers while they're still alive to smell them. Let people know how you feel about them while they're still here. They can hear you, because, you want to share those feelings and those emotions. Tell them how much they mean to you while they can still hold your hand and give you that hug. You can see that love reflected in their eyes, as opposed to you trying to tell a box, in a church somewhere how you felt, because again, time is undefeated. So don't bet against time, because you will lose sooner or later. Also, I want to keep in mind and put hearts in the chat for anybody who is either in the service, knows somebody in the service, or our service or armed forces, or support staff, because a lot of times we recognize people who are in the service, but we don't recognize the support folks who are there helping as well. And it's not just the people who might be putting themselves in harm's way, but as well as the friends and families who have to exist without them, the communities that are damaged because those individuals aren't there to participate. So I want to put hearts in the chat for all those people as well. All right. Hopefully I've covered everybody. Yeah, that's where we are. I think we're 3 hours in. So I'm only going to go about hour and a half, maybe two tops. That always goes out the window. We will be back on Thursday. Just make sure you guys, thanks to Lizzie B, hit the speak pipes. So if you want to leave a message, I am checking speak pipes, and we will be doing the speak pipes and talking about those. And make sure you subscribe to My Take on Reality, of course, and My Take on Reality Live, where we'll be doing a lot of the live stuff. Before we go, I do want to do the survey that I did, or a poll. Can you support someone sharing trauma without knowing every detail? And I think that's important. That's kind of an interesting question. Can you support someone sharing trauma without knowing every detail? You don't have to necessarily get all into their business. 34% of you said yes, compassion comes first. 49% of you said yes, but facts still matter. And I think that that's an important one. That's kind of where I like to imagine myself being. I want to give everybody the opportunity. And that's the compassion side of it, where we actually listen and take that information in. We take it serious, and we move from that information as provided to us. But we want to make sure that we're getting it right. And I think that that's important as well, because it's not just about the victims, potential victims. It's also about people who are being accused, especially if they're being falsely accused, because it's not just that you're ruining that person's life. You could potentially be ruining the lives of anybody connected to that person, as well as damaging any future potential victims or survivors. You could be damaging them and their ability to come forward and tell the truth. We had 8% of you said, no, I need proof first. And 8% of you said, unsure, which sounds to me like a case by case basis. But thank you guys for participating in that poll. And huge shout out. Let's give a shout out to we had the 2 super chats, one from Local Art Switch. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for telling your story. I appreciate Local Art Switch because she makes it look easy. I won't say easy, but she makes it look. She handles her past trauma with a level of grace that is rarely seen, and she's very forthright with a lot of her experiences. And I recognize and appreciate the level of courage. Like, and, Local Arts, which isn't the only one. I don't want to holler people's names out because I don't want to put people's business out. But she's not the only one. But we have several people who call into the channel and will share their stories. And I appreciate the fact that they're very candid with what happened to them, as well as the idea or notion that they are open to discuss it, and the recognition of how much actual courage it takes to talk about things like that when it happens to you. And I think that that's something that, is invaluable, because even as Megatron said, like, if you've never encountered somebody, like I have unfortunately have known people who have been through some things. And I also recognize that there are people who have never talked to somebody or heard from somebody who is an actual survivor of these situations, and how off-putting it can be and how scary it can be for those individuals to hear about the realities of it. Because the only real encounter they get is what they see on the news or what they see on dramatized TV. But to actually talk to somebody who shares their experiences provides a level of understanding that I don't think you will ever get by just simply watching a TV show or watching a documentary or watching the news. So I appreciate the candid openness. Another person who is very open and candid is Jody Periscala. I know that they're like she might feel a little bit like people coming down on her. I don't want you to feel like people are coming down on you at all, Jody. I think that when you have an opinion, I respect people's opinions, even if it disagrees with my own positions. I respect your ability to have an opinion and what your opinion is. And I think that in itself is a valuable contribution to any conversation, because it doesn't help move the ball forward for understanding, for healing, for seeking justice, for creating laws or advocating for victims, advocating for people who have been falsely accused, advocating for communities or resources that are desperately needed in order to help people in these situations. If we're all just kind of on the same page singing along with the choir, we have to have these very difficult conversations so that we can sharpen ourselves, so that when we move into the positions of advocacy, we can do it effectively. There's an old saying that I love. Iron sharpens iron. Okay. And you don't become a strong advocate. You don't become a strong person who is an ally if you only talk to people who agree with you, if you only talk to people who see things the way you see things and understand the way you understand the world. You don't become a strong advocate, because the second you meet somebody who has a difference of opinion, then you will find yourself at an extreme disadvantage, because they will say things to you that you've never considered, you never heard of before. They will disagree with you. Normally, nobody disagrees. Now, all of a sudden, you have somebody who disagrees or sees things from a different perspective. And I think that actually, the fact that you are standing on business and you're saying what you need to say, the way you need to say it by your understanding, I appreciate that, because it adds to the conversation. And I think that is the most important part of it. I think that's the most important part. But thank you so much, Jody, for being here and for sharing your thoughts. That's, what, guys, that's what I have this week. I will be doing on Thursday. I will be talking about the the one video that I never quite got around to, because there is unironically, there was a guy from the Manosphere who is very popular. And he came out and he was talking about how in marital relationships, it's a wife's duty to provide sexual gratification for her husband. And so therefore, grape inside of a marriage cannot exist. And I think that that goes hand in hand with some of the expectations that, you know, as young men are developing and they're listening to different sources and resources to aid in their development and growth, that these types of messages are extremely damaging. And, you know, talking about, or at least starting a conversation about what are some of the expectations for raising a young man in this world? Like, how do we talk to them or counsel them so that they can distinguish between like just utter bullshit and real life? The person who's providing this type of information is a person who at 34, 35 years old just had his first actual relationship with a woman. And that relationship, as much as he talks about it's a wife's duty and I'm going to have like an open relationship, but one way open and I can do whatever I want to do and she just going to have to take it. Like, you find out that he wasn't even, you know, he didn't share any intimacy with the woman who's supposed to be his girlfriend, you know, and he's never had a true committed relationship, but he's counseling men on how to go to prison for the rest of their lives by taking advantage of their wives. And most of the people who are in his audience are not guys who are my age. These are guys who are maybe half or a third or quarter my age, who are sitting there listening to this joker describing his view of the world, which plays no semblance close to anything close to reality and how the real world works and how real partnerships work and how real relationships work. So I wanted to try to address those things and how, you know, how we raise our young men and how and the things that we teach them. So that'll be on Thursday. Hopefully you guys are able to tune in for that. And we're going to be rocking and rolling. So I look forward to talking to you then. Leave some speak pipes. We'll have a great time. And I'll see you later. That's my take. Oh, before I go, I want to make sure I give a huge shout out to Lizzie B, Caramel Cuties, and Brittany Not Brittany, as well as the Speak Pipe folks and everybody who called in. Let me get a little something. All right, guys, that's my take. And this will probably be my last voiceover. So this Thursday, I will have my camera will be working and we'll be rocking and rolling. All right. That's my take. I'm James, and this has been my take on reality. And I'm out.